Chapter 81. The bell strikes, setting a new record again. 81. The bell strikes, setting a new record again. The next morning, Lin Moyu's spirit force was fully restored. Subsequently, he summoned 4 skeletal warriors, bringing the number of skeletal warriors under his command to 120. After washing up, he directly used the teleportation stone and disappeared from his room, and then arrived at Dungeon Hall. The area outside Dungeon Hall is as lively as ever. A large number of class users have set up stalls, searching for parties. In addition to ordinary students, there are also many institute students interspersed. Although both belong to Shajing Academy, but they are completely different. Most ordinary students were admitted into the academy through the grade examination. As for institute students, some of them were directly nurtured by the institutes. They have good family background and excellent bloodline, and they have been enjoying countless resources since they were little. At the same age, they have surpassed ordinary students in terms of level by far. When others take the grade examination, they have already passed level 20 on average. As a result, they are quite proud, and some look down on ordinary students. Not unlike Ling Zhen, who even looked down on Lin Moyu, an imperial top scorer. When they first enter Shajing Academy, imperial top scorers and provincial top scorers are indeed inferior to them. Since they had a late start, whether it's in terms of level, knowledge, equipment, or skills, they can't compare to the other party. The only thing they can compare to the other party is in terms of class. This disparity won't be alleviated until 2 or 3 years later. Some outstanding individuals will join the institutes. The rest, however, can only remain as ordinary students. The institutes serve to differentiate ordinary students from geniuses. Lin Moyu figured this out in the blink of an eye, and then didn't pay it any more attention. Anyway, it won't affect his leveling. Moreover, he doesn't want to party up with anyone else. He prefers to go solo. After entering Dungeon Hall, Lin Moyu went directly to Spider Nest's entrance. The cooldown period has just ended, saving him 40 points. Lin Moyu selected the Nightmare rank dungeon and went in. Once inside, he summoned the skeletal warriors. He is already familiar with the routes and the caves. The map hasn't changed. Since that's the case, then if I push the speed to the limit, it should take me about 20 minutes. Lin Moyu quietly made an estimation. However, he didn't choose to push the speed to the limit, but instead optimized the route. He ignored some out-of-the-way places and deliberately chose caves that were fairly close by, and skeletal warriors drew the spiders inside. In this way, he can claim a larger part of the express while saving a lot of time, optimizing efficiency. According to his calculations, the raid speed can be nearly halved this way. He can clear the dungeon in 50 minutes at most, earning about 70% of the dungeon's express. In this way, efficiency is greatly improved. This is the solution he came up with last night. Lin Moyu followed the skeletal warriors and advanced forward. Occasionally, skeletal warriors would bring massive amounts of spiders from behind. At the same time, explosions sounded from time to time, echoing throughout the entire spider nest. His express rose repeatedly. By the time Li Moyu has crossed half of the dungeon, light appeared on his body, indicating that he leveled up. This was within his calculations. Therefore, when he finished his meditation session, Lin Moyu consumed more than 80% of his spirit force and summoned 4 skeletal warriors. He knew he would level up halfway through the dungeon. After he leveled up, his spirit force was fully restored again. At this time, Lin Moyu didn't summon any more skeletal warriors, but preserved his spirit force to deal with the final boss. Yesterday, the Spider King's skills dealt some damage to the skeletal warriors. The same thing can't happen again today. After leveling up, the skeletal warriors became even more powerful. Their 4 attributes have reached 6,200 points. Their combat power has increased. In conjunction with corpse explosion, they rapidly pushed ahead. After only 40 minutes, the skeleton army reached the end of the dungeon. The skeletal warriors quickly cut open the spider web blocking the way, revealing the passage inside. If you pass through this passage, you will reach the place where the Spider King is located. Lin Moyu didn't rush in, but instead stood in a nearby cave. Click-clack. The sounds became increasingly more concentrated. In addition to the sounds coming from the skeletal warriors, there were also sounds coming from a large number of insects. A few skeletal warriors ran over, followed by more than 1,000 spiders. They rushed into the passage and ran toward the location of the Spider King. As long as the spiders get near the Spider King, If that happens, then by using corpse explosion, Lin Moyu can basically kill the Spider King in an instant. The plan was good, but it didn't come to fruition. The spiders seemed to be afraid of the Spider King's aura. They stopped at the entrance of the passage and refused to enter. Lin Moyu realized that his plan failed. Soul blaze flashed, followed by several violent explosions. The spiders at the entrance have been cleared. Lin Moyu summoned all his skeletal warriors. 120 skeletal warriors with 6,200 points in the 4 attributes, wielding large blades, charged toward the Spider King. If the Spider King had some intelligence, it would surely be terrified by this force. The Spider King opened its mouthpart, ready to launch spit web. Skill. Soul blaze. Skill. Slowing curse. 2 skills were released one after the other, and the Spider King immediately burst into a startling shriek. This time, Lin Moyu didn't give the Spider King a chance to use spit web. The skeletal warriors did not jump onto its body, but instead focused entirely on its legs. The skeletal warriors were evenly distributed, 15 skeletons assigned to each leg. The large blades flickered with red light. Skill. Berserk strike. The Spider King screeched. The armor on its legs was chopped apart, revealing the flesh underneath. Lin Moyu has been casting Soul Blaze all this time. Battered by Soul Blaze again and again, the Spider King had no way to unleash its skills. The Spider King's spirit isn't high, so the effect of Soul Blaze is quite good. So far, Lin Moyu hasn't encountered any monsters that can withstand Soul Blaze. This kind of spirit attack ignores defense and thus is difficult to resist. The skeletal warriors surrounded the Spider King's legs and attacked them relentlessly. Furthermore, they focused on the same points. Finally, with a loud bang, the Spider King's legs were severed, and its massive body fell to the ground. It has become completely defenseless. It screeched, and countless small spiders crawled out from the surroundings. You just sealed your own fate. After the spiders arrived, a series of explosions sounded. Corpse explosion is definitely a godly skill. In less than 2 minutes, the Spider King died tragically. There isn't a single intact place on its body. Although the small spiders have low health, but their numbers were just too great. Lin Moyu consumed almost half of its spirit force before the Spider King was obliterated. It's a bit wasteful. Lin Moyu felt that this approach was a bit wasteful. He spent so much spirit force, yet the time it took to kill the Spider King was shortened by only 1 minute. He could have summoned 2 more skeletal warriors instead. After all, he has only 120 skeletal warriors, while the summon space already has 190 slots. There are still 70 slots waiting to be filled. In Dungeon Hall, the bell rang. People outside the hall rushed in one after another. Setting a new record always triggers curiosity and surprise in others. Someone has set a new record. Which big shot is it this time? I wonder which dungeon it is. More than 100 people rushed into Dungeon Hall, and then found the shining light screen. It's Spider Nest. So it's a level 20 dungeon. Is it perhaps the guy from yesterday? It's highly likely. I saw him enter earlier. A new record appeared on the light screen. The previous first place moved down 1 place, and a new record appeared at the top. Lin Moyu, level 19, Necromancer, 47 minutes and 22 seconds. Wow, it's really him. Yesterday he set a new record for Mutated Forest, and today he set a new record for Spider Nest. The key part is that he went by himself. That's crazy. How on earth did he do it? Is the Necromancer class that awesome? In addition to the class being amazing, I think he might possess a talent. Hiss. Everyone drew in a sharp breath. Class users with a talent are extraordinary beings, in their eyes at least. Every year, only a handful of class users with a talent will appear in the Empire. Talent my ass. He just got lucky. A voice full of envy sounded. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice. More than 100 pairs of eyes fell on Ling Zhen. Chapter 82. The look in his eyes, he must have killed people before. 82. The look in his eyes, he must have killed people before. With so many eyes on him, Ling Zhen evidently felt a bit uneasy. Why do you say that? Someone raised a question. Setting a new record isn't something that can be easily achieved. Not to mention that the record was set by a single person. This is even harder. So why is he saying that Lin Moyu was lucky? Ling Zhen said with disdain, he's merely an ordinary student who just completed the great examination. However, he has a connection with God Bai. He probably got some powerful treasure from him. Otherwise, it would be impossible for one person to clear a nightmare rank dungeon. His words have just fallen, when someone said angrily, so what if he's an ordinary student? Can't ordinary students set a record? That's right. You say Lin Moyu relied on a treasure he got from God to set the record, but do you have any evidence to prove your claim? I recognize you. Your name is Ling Zhen, a student from Qianlong Institute. No wonder you're looking down on us ordinary students. However, you just got an early start, that's all. It still remains to be seen who will end up standing at the top. Ling Zhen's words triggered a frenzied reaction. The relationship between ordinary students and institute students is a bit strained. However, at least things weren't out in the open, hidden behind a thin membrane. Everyone was conscious not to pierce through the membrane. Yet now Ling Zhen threw a metaphorical stone and pierced right through it. The ordinary students erupted at once. Since they received the approval of the Office of Academic Affairs, these ordinary students are eligible to enter Dungeon Hall. It can be said that they are all excellent individuals. Furthermore, most of them have achieved outstanding results in the grade examination, and their class is formidable. Even though they can't compare to students nurtured by the academy at first. But over time, the gap will gradually narrow and eventually may even reverse. So, that's why in the eyes of many excellent ordinary students, the students nurtured by the academy are nothing special. As for the institute students, they are naturally on his side, thinking that what Ling Zhen is mostly true. Both sides broke out in a heated argument, taunting remark flying left and right, almost coming to blows. With a flash of light, Lin Moyu appeared in front of the dungeon. A fierce quarrel entered his ears. Momentarily, he couldn't figure out what was going on. Suddenly, someone pulled Lin Moyu by the arm. Lin Moyu, did you just complete the grade examination this year? Lin Moyu instinctively made a sound of assent. What was your result? Lin Moyu answered honestly, Imperial top scorer. Everyone was stunned. It turns out he is this year's Imperial top scorer. The institute students were specially shocked. Although they look down on ordinary students, but Imperial top scorers are different. Even though Imperial top scorers are inferior to them when they first arrive. But after a few years, most Imperial top scorers will catch up to them or even surpass them. Imperial top scorers are no pushovers. In general, their class and skills are formidable. They just didn't have access to many resources and had a late start. Ling Zhen said coldly, what's so great about Imperial top scorers? Can they compare to us? If we had taken the grade examination, we would have easily taken the position of Imperial top scorer. Someone retorted, I wouldn't say that. If you hadn't been nurtured by the academy and only awakened your class a week before the grade examination, it's hard to tell if you had been able to take the position of Imperial top scorer. This statement received approval from many. Even the institute students had to agree. After all, it's the truth. Lin Moyu finally figured out what was going on. Ling Zhen was provoking him again. Lin Moyu looked at Ling Zhen, a surge of murderous intent in his eyes. I told you, if you provoked me again, that I would kill you. Ling Zhen felt intimidated by Lin Moyu's gaze. You think I'm scared of you? Who do you think you are? Lin Moyu gave him a deep look, his gaze full of admonishment. If it were in the wilderness, Lin Moyu would have taken action already. Some noticed Lin Moyu's gaze and couldn't help but shiver. Lin Moyu ignored him, then turned around and entered Spider Nest again. At this moment, someone patted their chest. Oh my god, the look in his eyes, he must have killed people before. And not just one or two. Stop saying such things, okay. He's merely a new student who just finished the grade examination. There's no way he could have killed anyone. Do you think the outside world is that simple? You grew up under the protection of the academy and know nothing of the dangers of the outside world. I'm sure he has killed people before, and quite a few. The look in his eyes just now, it's as if he were looking at a monster in a dungeon. Right, that look was very scary. At this moment, Ling Zhen was also scared. Lin Moyu's gaze affected him the most. In Lin Moyu's eyes, he was not a human, but rather a monster that can be killed at any time. When he thought about the terrifying skeletons under Lin Moyu's command, fear washed over him. His legs started trembling, although he is scared, but he can't lose face. Ling Zhen got a grip. Humph, you better not run into me in the wilderness, or else I'll kill you. With that, Ling Zhen used the teleportation stone and teleported away. After he left, a burst of laughter rose in Dungeon Hall. Ha ha, this guy is scared. From his last words, you can tell that he is just putting up a strong front. What a coward. This is a student cultivated by the academy, a so-called genius, what a disgrace. The institute students felt ashamed, giving no retort. They have already begun to despise Ling Zhen. After all, this guy caused them to lose face. They put Ling Zhen on the blacklist, making a mental note not to party up with him for a dungeon raid in the future. When they left Dungeon Hall and prepared to look for party members, the bell rang again. My gosh, what's going on? There's another new record. Needless to say, it must be Lin Moyu. He did the same with Mutated Forest yesterday. Yes, I was there yesterday as well. He set a new record on the first raid, and then broke his own record on the second raid. I have never heard of any treasures that can enable people to solo nightmare rank dungeons and create such astonishing records. The people who just left Dungeon Hall rushed back in. When they saw the result on the light screen, their eyes widened more than their mouths. Lin Moyu, level 19, Necromancer, 22 minutes and 51 seconds. This record was no longer astonishing, but instead terrifying. Everyone felt cold all over. Soloing a nightmare rank dungeon, in only 22 minutes and 51 seconds. No one can imagine how he achieved that. Yet he did achieve it. The facts were vividly presented before them. No way, is there something wrong with Dungeon Hall? What nonsense are you spouting? If anything, there's something wrong with your head, not Dungeon Hall. Do you know how many years Dungeon Hall has been in operation, yet it has never had any problems? Then how did he do it? You can go and ask him. I won't go, his eyes are too scary. At this moment, Lin Moyu appeared outside the dungeon. The next moment, he entered the dungeon again. In the dungeon, Lin Moyu looked at his express. Level 19, 74%. There are still 26% left until he can level up. In order to clear the dungeon quickly, he left many spiders alone in the previous raid and gained very little express. With this raid, I can level up. When he set a new record for Spider Nest, he once again received 1000 points and 5 contribution points as reward. Rumbling sounds rose incessantly in Spider Nest. Lin Moyu marched forward along with the skeletal warriors. By the time Lin Moyu arrived at the entrance to the boss cavern, white light had already appeared on him. He leveled up. Level 20 at last. Lin Moyu let out a long breath. He estimates that there are few people in the world who can level up as quickly as him. After all, he can solo nightmare rank dungeons. His efficiency is astonishingly high. However, considering that joining Chuangshan Institute requires level 30, he feels that he still has ways to go. After level 20, leveling speed will definitely slow down again. He just doesn't know how much it will slow down. Based on the time he reached level 10, after he leveled up, skills may undergo a change. Especially his talent and the skill Summon Skeletal Warrior. Lin Moyu is looking forward to seeing if there are any changes. He viewed his attribute panel. Name, Lin Moyu. Class, Necromancer Unique. Level, 21.00%. Strength, 300. Agility, 300. Spirit, 1300 plus 20. Physique, 300 plus 20. Equipment, Goblin King's Magic Book, Robe of Knowledge. Summon Space, 122 hundredths, Skeletal Warriors 120. Talents, Comprehensive Amplification Level 3, Unique. Passive Skills, Damage Transfer. Active Skills, Soul Blaze Level 20, Summon Skeletal Warrior, Level 20 Corpse Explosion, Level 2, Slowing Curse Level 1. Comprehensive Amplification Level 3 enhances the effects of all skills by 30 times. Damage Transfer, all damage taken by the host will be borne by the summons. Soul Blaze Level 20 deals damage to target's soul, its power depends on your spirit force and the skill's level. Summon Skeletal Warrior Level 20 summons a Silver Skeletal Warrior. Corpse Explosion Level 2 detonate a corpse and deal 15% of the corpse's health as damage to enemies within a radius of 2 meters. Slowing Curse Level 1 curses enemies within a range of 5 meters and reduces their speed by 5%, lasts for 1 minute. Although he has expected as much, but Lin Moyu was still shocked by the changes. Chapter 83. Killing a boss almost in an instant. 83 Killing a boss almost in an instant. Godly Talent, Comprehensive Amplification. It is his most important ability. The talent Comprehensive Amplification reached level 3. The amplification rate has increased from 20 to 30 times. The upgrade is quite significant. The power of Soul Blaze has increased greatly. It was a powerful single target skill to begin with. After a 30-fold amplification, its offensive power has become terrifying. Soul Blaze is a very powerful tool for interrupting the skills of bosses. And there is still the very important skill Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion is still level 2. But after the amplification, its range has reached 60 meters. A range of 60 meters is already quite considerable. And the damage has reached 450% of the corpse's health. If a monster is detonated nearby, no other monster of similar type will be able to withstand it. The skill Slowing Curse also benefits from his talent's level up. Its range has reached 150 meters, and the deceleration effect has reached 150%. Furthermore, the duration has reached 30 minutes. Finally, Lin Moyu opened the attribute panel of the Skeletal Warriors. After the skill has reached level 20, the Skeletal Warriors have been upgraded from bronze rank to silver rank. There must be a significant increase in their attributes. At level 19, after being amplified, the 4 attributes of the Skeletal Warriors have reached 6,200 points. Their actual attributes were at 310 points, which is neither high nor low. In fact, it is similar to ordinary wild monsters of the same level. With sufficient Skeletal Warriors, even without the talent's amplification, it will still be easy to fight monsters in the wild. At most, the hunting speed will decrease. But now, the Skeletal Warriors standing in front of him are silver-white. Compared to when they were bronze rank, they are a bit taller and emit a silver-white luster. Their bones have become smoother. The large blades in their hands have become sharper, as if carefully forged equipment, without any signs of wear. All these changes are telling Lin Moyu that he has become stronger. Silver Skeletal Warrior. Strength, 12,000. Agility, 12,000. Spirit, 12,000. Physique, 12,000. Skill, Berserk Strike Level 2. Berserk Strike Level 2 deals 300% of the skill user's strength as damage, cooldown period of 10 minutes. When Lin Moyu saw these attributes, his whole body felt a little numb. He was shocked once again. 12,000 points in the 4 attributes. This has reached 5 figures. The basic attributes are at 400 points, which is not very high. The most amazing thing is his talent. Silver Skeletal Warrior, how much spirit force does it cost to summon one? Lin Moyu came up with a question. The level increased and attributes became stronger, but what about the consumption? He tried to summon one. A significant drop in spirit force occurred in an instant, from 1,320 to 820. His eyebrows stirred involuntarily. A consumption of 500 points of spirit force, that's quite a lot. It seems I need to get some equipment to raise my spirit force. At present, he can only summon 2 skeletons at a time. It will take ages to fill the summon space. Since he has reached level 20, he can use silver rank equipment now. Lin Moyu decided to go to the trade office to see if he can buy suitable silver rank equipment. At the same time, he is also going to purchase a bunch of elementary skill scrolls. After a significant increase in their attributes, the Silver Skeletal Warriors slashed apart the spider web in 2 to 3 strokes. Then they rushed in headfirst. Faced with the Skeletal Warriors charging toward it, the Spider King assumed a combat posture. This time, Lin Moyu didn't take action. He wants to see how powerful the Silver Skeletal Warriors are. Skill, Spit Web. A huge net emerged. At first, Lin Moyu felt that the Skeletal Warriors would be caught in it again. But then several Skeletal Warriors suddenly jumped up and swung their large blades. Accompanied by faint noise, the sound of the spider web being cut rose. The Skeletal Warriors passed through the spider web without stopping and continued to charge toward the Spider King. They have become self-aware. It seems that becoming self-aware has increased their combat power. Lin Moyu felt a sense of self-awareness from the Silver Skeletal Warriors. They now adapt according to the situation, instead of just hacking away as before. If this is the case for silver rank, then what about gold rank and platinum rank? Will the Skeletal Warriors become like real warriors, like class users? The Spider King used Spit Web repeatedly, but to no avail. After reaching silver rank, the Skeletal Warriors have undergone a complete transformation. Not only have their attributes increased greatly, but they have also gained combat awareness. In the blink of an eye, the Skeletal Warriors have reached the Spider King's legs. The silver-white blades of some Skeletal Warriors emitted red light, and they slashed at the Spider King's legs. Skill, Berserk Strike, 12,000 points of strength, plus a 300% attack bonus. This skill deserves to contain the word Berserk in its name. Red light illuminated the cavern. As if they were vegetables, the Spider King's legs were neatly chopped off. Accompanied by shrieks, the Spider King fell to the ground. At this time, some other skeletal warriors activated their skill. Large blades fell on the Spider King. Killed Spider King, EXP plus 190,000. Obtained a silver rank weapon, Spider Stave. Obtained an elementary core. Spider Dagger. Silver rank, Spirit plus 40, Physique plus 40, increases the power of magic skills by 8%, usable after level 20. Upon seeing the notification, Lin Moyu was taken aback. Is this it? With the skeletal warriors activating their skill, the battle took less than 10 seconds. A magnificent dungeon boss died just like that. Faced with silver skeletal warriors, whose 4 attributes have reached 12,000 points, the Spider King couldn't even summon its subordinates. That was really fast. When he checked his express, Lin Moyu was at a loss for words. He obtained 190,000 EXP, yet his express only increased by 0.2%. After level 20, the leveling speed has slowed down by several times. In general, in order to go from level 20 to level 30, it can take 1 year if it's fast or 3 years if it's slow. One of the requirements for entering Chuangshan Institute is level 30. Individuals who can reach level 30 in a short period of time are very impressive characters. While people like his sister, who entered Chuangshan Institute just a few months after entering the academy, are few and far between. Lin Moyu didn't linger in Dungeon Hall and directly used the teleportation stone to return to the dormitory. Next he left the dormitory and headed for the trade office. The Imperial Trade Office and the Academic Trade Office are located one next to the other. Although the two look a bit different, but there is an overarching style that connects them. They are collectively referred to as Trade Center by the students. Lin Moyu first went to the Academic Trade Office, where a large number of items are sold that can only be redeemed with points. The biggest difference between it and the Imperial Trade Office is that you can't directly sell items to the Academic Trade Office. Lin Moyu found several missions, mostly material retrieval missions. He handed over some materials he obtained and obtained 150 points. This is one of the ways many students earn points. Then he went to the Imperial Trade Office and sold all the remaining items. Lin Moyu didn't bother with consignment sale. After all, the price difference isn't that big, and he is too lazy to study the prices. Instead, it's better to use that time and effort to do dungeon raid a couple more times. Compared to bronze rank equipment, silver rank equipment is more valuable. He sold several pieces of silver rank equipment, several pieces of bronze rank equipment, and some miscellaneous materials for a total of 430,000 gold coins. His total assets reached 610,000 gold coins and 135,000 points. After setting 2 records, his points not only not decreased, but they even increased. Lin Moyu searched the Imperial Trade Office but couldn't find the equipment he needed. In the end, he spent 600,000 gold coins and bought 6 elementary skill scrolls. 6 scrolls, this might not be enough. To be on the safe side, he went to the Academic Trade Office once again. There are also elementary skill scrolls for sale in the Academic Trade Office, priced at 800 points per scroll. According to the exchange ratio of 1 point for 100 gold coins, 800 points can only be exchanged for 80,000 gold coins, which isn't enough to buy a skill scroll in the Imperial Trade Office. This can highlight the stronger purchasing power and higher value of points. This is not only true for skill scrolls, the same is also true for other equipment and items. After a moment of thought, Lin Moyu bought 10 elementary skill scrolls, using 8,000 points. 16 scrolls should be enough. After buying the skill scrolls, he started looking at other items. Some equipments and items here are not available in the Imperial Trade Office. For example, Lin Moyu saw a silver rank weapon. This weapon is called Spirit Sword, and it doesn't originate from a dungeon, but was forged by a blacksmith class user called Zhang Tai. Blacksmith is a support type class, and it can enable you to forge weapons and armor that class users require. Spirit Sword. Silver rank, Spirit plus 400, usable after level 20. Maker. Zhang Tai. Introduction. A part of a 3-piece spirit set. There is no skill buff, only a spirit bonus of 400 points. Compared to a top silver rank stave that provides a spirit force boost of 200 points and increases the power of magic type skills by 15%, the spirit sword is less practical. Most mages won't choose to use it. The spirit sword seems a bit unconventional among silver rank weapons. Only a special mage-type support like Prophet that requires a lot of spirit force to cast skills would choose such an unconventional weapon. Lin Moyu is interested in its boost of spirit force. His spirit force has currently reached 1,300 points. With its spirit force boost, his spirit force will reach 1,700 points. To summon a skeletal warrior, he has to spend 500 points of spirit force. At the moment, he can only summon 2 skeletal warriors. But with the sword, he will be able to summon 3 skeletal warriors. Furthermore, the higher the spirit force, the faster its restoration speed during meditation and the higher its efficiency. The most crucial thing is that the higher the spirit force, the more powerful skill Soul Blaze will get. An increase in spirit force is equivalent to a boost to Soul Blaze. To Lin Moyu, the sword is much more practical than other silver rank weapons. The spirit sword's price is 3,000 points, making it slightly more expensive than other silver rank weapons. Lin Moyu still bought it without hesitation. Chapter 84. Some idiot with a lot of money, godly skill. 84. Some idiot with a lot of money, godly skill. A delicate silver-white sword appeared in his hand, instantly increasing his spirit force to 1,700. Lin Moyu can feel an energy transmit into his body from the spirit sword. If he casts Soul Blaze while holding the sword, the power of Soul Blaze will be increased significantly. It only took 2 minutes to spend 10,000 points. He still has 125,000 points left. This may seem like a lot, but it's actually not much. Gold rank equipment can easily go for tens of thousands of points. His entire wealth is only enough to buy one piece of gold rank equipment. 1,700 points of spirit force still isn't enough. Lin Moyu went to look for protective equipment. This is. Lin Moyu saw a mage-type protective equipment called Spirit Robe in the protective equipment section. Spirit Robe. Silver rank, Spirit plus 200, usable after level 20. Maker. Zhang Tai. Introduction. A part of a 3-piece spirit set. It was made by the same person. At the same time, it also only gives a boost in spirit force. This is not surprising. What Lin Moyu focused on was the introduction, a part of a 3-piece spirit set. This is a set. Lin Moyu was taken aback. In high school, while studying basic knowledge about equipment, he saw descriptions about sets. Sets are extremely rare. If you can gather one, you will be able to obtain an additional bonus. The Spirit Robe costs 2,000 points, making it slightly cheaper than its sword counterpart. But it is more expensive than other silver rank protective equipment of the same level. Lin Moyu bought it without thinking. As for the points, he isn't really concerned about them for the time being. With a thought from him, the Spirit Robe appeared on him, replacing the Robe of Knowledge. His spirit force was pushed to 1,900. He still is missing one piece of the set. He started searching again. In the trade office, there is a search function. Following Lin Moyu's specifications, the corresponding equipment was quickly found. Spirit Ring. Silver rank, Spirit plus 200, usable after level 20. Maker. Zhang Tai. Introduction. A part of a 3-piece spirit set. Its price has been set at 5,000 points, which is very expensive. It's much more expensive than other silver rank accessories. Lin Moyu isn't concerned with the price. He just wants to gather the entire set. He couldn't help but to buy it. At the same time, he wore it on his finger. With the entire set gathered, Lin Moyu emitted faint silver light, catching the attention of others in the trade office. This is set light. Someone gathered a set. Silver white light. It's a silver rank set. What silver rank set is there here? I haven't heard of it before. Do you remember that handcrafted set? Are you talking about the set that only provides spirit buffs? The one that has been in the trade office for over 2 years? I'll be damned. Did someone really buy this set? Is it some idiot with a lot of money? Everyone looked at Lin Moyu as if he were a moron. Only a moron would spend 10,000 points to buy a silver rank set without any skill buffs. What's the use of piling up so much spirit force? It's better to add skill buffs and increase offensive power. After all, the power of other mage-type skills is basically unrelated to spirit force. They can't understand him, and Lin Moyu doesn't need them to understand him. After wearing the spirit ring, his spirit force was pushed to 2,100, surpassing the other attributes by far. Next, Lin Moyu finally witnessed the set bonus. The 3-piece spirit set provides an additional spirit force bonus of 800 points. The spirit sword, spirit robe, and spirit ring, the 3 items provide a basic spirit force boost of 800 points. In total, Lin Moyu's force was boosted by 1,600 points. His spirit attribute has reached 2,900. It was worth it. Lin Moyu believes that the 10,000 points were well spent. Under the strange gazes, Lin Moyu left the trading center. He hasn't said a word from beginning to end. However, as he was leaving, a hint of satisfaction appeared on Lin Moyu's face. What a strange guy. He spent so many points to purchase a silver rank set that boosts spirit, yet he's this happy. Maybe he thinks it looks good. You have to admit, his robe and sword do look pretty nice. So what if they look good? Is that enough to defeat a boss? What we need is power. That guy doesn't care about how much he spends. If only I was given the 10,000 points, I would be able to buy a gold rank weapon. Lin Moyu left the trade office and made a beeline for the skill training center. The academy has a specialized skill training center, where formation masters have set up formations. In the skill training center, not only can the training of skills be accelerated, but reportedly the probability of awakening skills can also be increased. Although the last part isn't certain, but there are still many people who choose to use skill scrolls in the skill training center. Lin Moyu didn't take any chances in this regard. The skill training center is also divided into elementary, intermediate, and advanced grades. Not unlike dungeons, in addition to points, there are also level requirements. Since he is level 20, Lin Moyu can only enter the elementary rank skill training center. By paying 100 points, you can train for 1 hour in the elementary rank skill training center. This shows why, even when the skill training center isn't fully booked, there are students training their skills outside. 100 points for 1 hour of training, this price is indeed quite steep. And this is only the price for elementary rank training center. The price for intermediate rank and advanced rank training center is 1,000 points and 10,000 points per hour respectively. Ning Yi once mentioned that there appears to be a top-rank training center, but it isn't open to the public. Lin Moyu paid the points and entered the training center. The training center is an independent space. It has a length and width of around 30 meters, neither large nor small, but enough to train skills. There are some training equipment placed inside. Standing in the training center, Lin Moyu felt a different air. He summoned a skeletal warrior, consuming 500 points of spirit force. After the time he spent in the trading office, his spirit force was restored only by a small fraction. The speed at which spirit force is restored very slow. At this time in the training center, although he hasn't entered the meditative state, but the speed at which his spirit force is being restored is comparable to that when he is in a meditative state. By entering the meditative state in the skill training center, the speed can be increased several-fold. Thanks to this, there is no need to worry about insufficient spirit force when training skills. The training speed can naturally be greatly increased. If I summon skeletal warriors in here and use meditation to restore my spirit force, wouldn't it be possible to quickly fill up the summon space? Lin Moyu calculated in his heart. However, now is not the time to summon skeletal warriors. Lin Moyu took out an elementary skill scroll and then activated it. The scroll transformed into a mass of light enveloping Lin Moyu, turning him into a ball of light shining brightly in the training center. After a moment, the mass of light dissipated. Nothing happened. He didn't acquire a new skill. The elementary skill scroll failed. As expected, it's not that easy to awaken a skill. Ning Yi once said that there was an unlucky guy who, at level 30, wanted to awaken all his elementary rank skills before the second awakening and ended up using 300 elementary skill scrolls. Lin Moyu believes that his luck shouldn't be this pathetic. He activated another skill. A mass of light rose again. Lin Moyu can see that the mass of light is composed of thousands of specks of light, like stars, very beautiful. At this moment, Lin Moyu recalled how he used to look up at the stars on the roof with his sister and make wishes upon shooting stars. His grandma would bring them dim sum, and fruits to eat. That is a time that Lin Moyu cherishes very much in his heart. Suddenly, Lin Moyu saw one of the stars brighten up. Then a stream of light flowed into his body. Obtained skill, Bone Armor. Bone Armor Level 1 summons an armor of bones that provides 100 points of physical defense for 5 minutes, the skill can also be used on others. Necromancer is a mage-type class, and it also has a protective shield skill. For the Necromancer class, that protective shield skill is Bone Armor. 100 points of physical defense doesn't seem much. However, under the effect of comprehensive amplification, this defense is increased 30-fold. This is equivalent to 3,000 points of physical defense. This makes him no different from a humanoid boss monster. When faced with level 20 class users, Lin Moyu can boldly proclaim, "Even if I don't lift a finger, you won't be able to beat me." The most crucial thing is that this skill can also be used on others. This is different from mages, who can only use their protective shield skill on themselves. Therefore, with him in a party, safety will be greatly enhanced. This skill can compensate for his weak defense. Lin Moyu raised his palm, and then pressed it down. As he pressed down his palm, a soft sound rang in the training center. A cold wind emerged out of nowhere and surrounded him. A white armor composed of bones quickly covered his body. It looks a bit eerie, but is also a bit cool. After wearing the bone armor, Lin Moyu moved his body. The armor doesn't hinder his movements in the least. Furthermore, the armor is light as a feather. He couldn't even feel it. After trying it out for a while, the corners of Lin Moyu's mouth rose into a smile. Another practical and powerful godly skill. He activated the next skill scroll. 1 Dim Sum, Chapter 85. Skeletal Mage, Elemental Resistance. 85 Skeletal Mage, Elemental Resistance. The mass of light persisted for a while and then gradually dissipated. He wasn't able to acquire a new skill. Lin Moyu wasn't disappointed. He just obtained a godly skill and is already quite satisfied. As the number of skills increases, the failure rate of skill scrolls will rise rapidly. Further down the line, even a dozen-plus skill scroll may not be enough to acquire a new skill. Lin Moyu activated skill scrolls one after another. Failure, failure, failure. Successive failures occurred. Lin Moyu continued to activate skill scrolls, a calm look on his face. Even if the other skill scrolls end up all in failure, the skill bone armor is already a big win. 7 failures occurred in a row. The 10th skill scroll. A mass of light enveloped Lin Moyu. A few seconds later, different visuals appeared in front of his eyes. Flames soared, ice rained down, wind howled, lightning thundered. 4 different scenes alternated before his eyes. The 4 scenes represent 4 elements. Despite how level-headed he is, Lin Moyu couldn't help but get agitated at this moment. The visuals indicate that he gained a new skill. And it seems to be a skill related to the elements. Obtain skill. Summon Skeletal Mage. Summon Skeletal Mage Level 1 summons an Iron Skeletal Mage. There wasn't much explanation. Because the skill is only level 1, only Iron Skeletal Mages can be summoned. A small black hole appeared next to Lin Moyu, and then a Skeletal Mage walked out. Summoning a Skeletal Mage costs 50 points of Spirit Force. It takes much more Spirit Force to summon Skeletal Mages than Skeletal Warriors. After all, when Skeletal Warriors were level 1, it only took 10 points of Spirit Force to summon one. The Iron Skeletal Mage is covered in tattered cloth. Compared to the Silver Skeletal Warriors, it presents a tragic sight. Its bones are covered in cracks. And when it's walking, it is shaking unsteadily, as if it will fall apart at any time. It has no weapons. Instead, there is firelight shining in its hands. This is a fire-type Skeletal Mage. Lin Moyu checked the attributes of the Skeletal Mage. Iron Skeletal Mage. Strength, 300. Agility, 300. Spirit, 900. Physique, 300. Skills. Flame Burst. Flame Burst. Deals fire elemental damage to the target. The attack power is based on Spirit Force. Due to his talent comprehensive amplification, its attributes have been increased by 30 times. For the basic attributes, its strength, agility, and physique are 10 points respectively, while spirit is 30 points. Lin Moyu is very satisfied with the attributes. The Skeletal Mage's strength, agility, and physique aren't high. Compared to level 1 class users, it is slightly worse off. Only its Spirit Force has reached 30 points. Furthermore, the power of its skill is determined by its Spirit Force. Lin Moyu understood the purpose of the Skeletal Mages. They are basically artillery units. With Skeletal Warriors blocking in front, they can launch attacks from behind. Lin Moyu gathers that this skill should be quite powerful. What he needs to do now is to continuously practice the skill and raise its level, making the Skeletal Mages stronger and stronger. Another mass of light rose, and then extinguished after a dozen-plus seconds. Lin Moyu used one skill scroll after another. Successive failures occurred once again. With his previous experience, Lin Moyu found this quite normal. At worst, he can buy dozens more skill scrolls at a later time. Finally, when the last scroll was activated, Lin Moyu saw different visuals again. If you acquire a skill using a skill scroll, there will inevitably be different visuals. It's like a trailer before a movie. The trailer this time was a mess of colors. Lin Moyu couldn't make heads or tails of it. But it doesn't matter that he can't understand it. Obtain skill. Elemental resistance. Elemental resistance level 1 passive skill, increases resistance to elemental attacks for host and summons alike by 10%. It's unexpectedly a passive skill. After his talent's amplification, the resistance to elemental attacks was upgraded to 300%. That is to say, damage dealt by elemental attacks will be reduced threefold. This has significantly increased his safety once again. Although skeletal warriors possess a high physique, but bosses with elemental type skills can still deal significant damage to them. But now with elemental resistance, the resistance of skeletal warriors to elemental attacks has increased greatly. It seems that every skill of the class Necromancer is quite practical. Lin Moyu has checked the time. It has been half an hour since he entered the skill training center. In here, time is points. He decisively summoned 4 skeletal warriors, pushing their numbers to 125. Then the skeletal mage dispersed. Lin Moyu's summons can be placed into the summon space, allowing them to exist permanently. He can also cancel the skill at any time, which is equivalent to obliterating the skeletal mage. But there's no other way. In order to train the skill, Lin Moyu can only do this. He summoned and cancelled skeletal mages until his spirit was depleted. And then he began to meditate. In the skill training center, meditation will restore spirit force quite quickly. Lin Moyu can feel his spirit force be rapidly restoring. This feeling is quite addictive. When the hour was up, Lin Moyu's spirit force was mostly restored. He paid for another 3 hours. When his spirit force was fully restored, he began to train his skill again. Skeletal mages kept appearing and disappearing. When his spirit force was depleted, he proceeded to meditate again. Rinse and repeat. Training skills can be addictive. Lin Moyu finally understands the meaning of these words. After a while, Summon Skeletal Mage finally rose to level 2. Iron Skeletal Mage. Strength, 600. Agility, 600. Spirit, 1800. Physique, 600. It's still Iron rank, still in a worn-out state. Nearly useless when compared to skeletal warriors. Time was up again. Lin Moyu has been staying in the skill training center the entire afternoon, for a total of 4 hours. He meditated and trained the skill repeatedly. Although he is in peak condition, but his mind is a bit strained. It's as if he has been raiding a dungeon for an entire day. When he left the skill training center, Lin Moyu used the communicator to call Bai Yiyuan. The call went through, and Bai Yiyuan's majestic voice rose. What's the matter? God Bai, I am level 20. Lin Moyu said calmly. Bai Yiyuan, who was drinking tea, showed a strange expression, feeling surprised. You are level 20. Lin Moyu said calmly, yes. Bai Yiyuan remained silent for a moment. Go to the Office of Academic Affairs and wait for me there. Okay. After ending the call, Lin Moyu hurried toward the Office of Academic Affairs. In a secret space, Meng Anwen couldn't help but smile and ask, who is level 20? Bai Yiyuan waved his hand. Who else can it be? It's Lin Moyu. Meng Anwen asked, isn't this quite normal? Well, yes and no. Yesterday evening, he was only level 17. But after one day, he has already reached level 20. This speed is a bit overwhelming. Meng Anwen showed a hint of surprise on his face. That's really fast. It seems he's quite hardworking. Bai Yiyuan suddenly burst laughing. I get it. This guy must be soloing nightmare rank dungeons, or else it would be impossible to be that fast. While thinking of Lin Moyu's performance on Mermaid Island, Bai Yiyuan felt that he has the ability to solo nightmare rank dungeons. At this moment, someone walked over and said, something strange is going on. Bai Yiyuan looked at the other party with a smile. Old Ning, aren't you in charge of Dungeon Hall? Where did you get the time to come see me? Ning Taran said in a deep voice, something strange is going on in Dungeon Hall. A kid has been setting new records successively. Today, students were arguing because of him, nearly coming to blows. In fact, someone claimed you gave the kid a treasure that enabled him to set the records. Bai Yiyuan raised his eyebrows. Is there such a treasure? How come I have never heard of such a thing? Who was the kid that set the records? As he spoke, Bai Yiyuan handed Ning Taran a cup of tea. Now relax, have some tea, and speak slowly. It's just some kid, that's all. It shouldn't be a big deal. Meng Anwen looked at Bai Yiyuan and realized that the other party should have an idea of what is going on. Ning Taran took a sip of tea. A student called Lin Moyu, level 17, came yesterday. He first cleared Mutated Forest, and then cleared Spider Nest. These are the records he set. Ning Taran displayed Lin Moyu's records. Mutated Forest, 24 minutes and 32 seconds. Spider Nest, 22 minutes and 51 seconds. Bai Yiyuan and Meng Anwen exchanged a look. These results are something else. Even the two of them were startled. Meng Anwen spoke self-deprecatingly, "Old Bai, if it were you back in the day, would you be able to make such achievements?" Bai Yiyuan spoke ruffianly, "No way in hell. If it's soloing ordinary rank dungeons, that would still be doable. As for soloing nightmare rank dungeons, that would be akin to throwing away my life. I really wonder how he did it. Enough with the chatter, I have to go. That guy should have already arrived at the Office of Academic Affairs." With that, Bai Yiyuan disappeared from this place. Ning Taran said strangely, "Why is he in such a hurry?" Meng Anwen smiled and said, "He went to meet the guy called Lin Moyu. Don't mind him and have some tea." Ning Taran uttered, "In any case, there is something I want to talk to you about." Meng Anwen paused, "What is it? Make me a ring. ... In the Office of Academic Affairs, Lin Moyu met Bai Yiyuan. "God Bai, what is the mission?" He went straight to the point. He doesn't like to beat around the bush. Bai Yiyuan glanced at Lin Moyu, and sure enough, he is already level 20. This speed isn't simply fast. At least it's much faster than his speed back in the day. Recalling his pathetic display from back in the day, Bai Yiyuan couldn't help but say in his heart, both siblings are freaks. Lin Mohan took 3 months to reach level 30, and then joined Chuangshan Institute. Her speed has already reached a flying tempo. Her brother is even more astounding. Bai Yiyuan estimates that it will take him less than 2 months to reach level 30. The mission is very simple. You just have to retrieve something. Chapter 86. God Bai's Mission, Tyrant's Heart. 86 God Bai's Mission, Tyrant's Heart. Bai Yiyuan sat with a broad grin on his face. Despite the smile on his face, he still appeared dignified. By staying in a high position for a long time, you will be able to cultivate an extraordinary presence. When they see Bai Yiyuan, ordinary people are taken aback by his presence. Lin Moyu, however, didn't feel anything. Bai Yiyuan didn't put on airs. "You have been to Dungeon Hall, haven't you? You should know that there is a large-scale dungeon called Tyrant Desert in Dungeon Hall." Lin Moyu nodded, "Yes." Bai Yiyuan said, "Your mission is to go to Tyrant Desert and retrieve the Tyrant's Heart. Is it that simple?" Tyrant Desert is a level 25 large-scale dungeon that can accommodate parties of up to 40 people, and its level requirement is quite lax, ranging from level 20 to level 30. In Tyrant Desert, there must be many monsters inside, and they are bound to be strong. But for Lin Moyu, the more monsters the better. With the skill corpse explosion, no matter the amount, monsters will only serve to increase his express. Bai Yiyuan chuckled, "You think it's really simple?" Lin Moyu almost instinctively wanted to answer yes. It's not that easy to obtain the Tyrant's Heart. The reason why Tyrant Desert is called a large-scale dungeon is because it requires a party of 40 people to enter. It's naturally quite challenging. Although it is only level 25, but its difficulty is much higher than that of other level 25 dungeons. Bai Yiyuan didn't continue to elaborate. Lin Moyu understood the implication the other party tried to convey. But Bai Yiyuan couldn't have imagined that Lin Moyu wanted to go to Tyrant Desert to begin with. Bai Yiyuan lightly tapped his fingers on the table, making thumping sounds. "I give you 3 days. Bring me the Tyrant's Heart within 3 days, and I will help you acquire a cooldown charm." "I understand," Lin Moyu replied quietly. Before going into Dungeon Hall, he had a strong desire to acquire a cooldown charm. In Dungeon Hall, however, all he needs is to spend some points to dispel the cooldown period. At this time, he doesn't seem to need a cooldown charm as much anymore. Bai Yiyuan noticed the look in Lin Moyu's eyes and couldn't help but show a mysterious smile. "You think that with Dungeon Hall, the cooldown charm is of no use? I can tell you that the cooldown charms is quite useful. In fact, the function of the cooldown charm is beyond what Dungeon Hall can compare. Although there are many dungeons in Dungeon Hall, but they aren't the best, and there are no top dungeons. You will come into contact with better dungeons in the future, and will learn that their cooldown period is surprisingly long. Some top dungeons have a cooldown period as long as 1 month. At that time, the cooldown charm will become quite handy. Lin Moyu asked, but it is just an elementary cooldown charm. Bai Yiyuan laughed heartily. Any given advanced cooldown charm has started from an elementary cooldown charm. If you complete this mission, I will not only give you an elementary cooldown charm, but I will also tell you how to upgrade it. So that's how it is. Lin Moyu hasn't expected this. Okay, I will bring you the Tyrant's Heart. Lin Moyu accepted the mission. Bai Yiyuan chuckled. In 3 days, the academy will hold the opening ceremony, and students who have been admitted this year will arrive. You shouldn't miss it. Okay. When Bai Yiyuan returned, Meng Anwen was still drinking tea, looking like he's admiring some faraway scenery. So, still satisfied with the kid? Meng Anwen poured a cup of hot tea for Bai Yiyuan. Bai Yiyuan smiled and said, the more I see him, the more satisfied I get. The kid has a cool head. He is quite to my liking. I told him to go to Tyrant Desert to retrieve the Tyrant's Heart, and gave him 3 days to accomplish this. Oh, Meng Anwen said, it won't be easy to form such a big party. This guy won't form a party, but will surely go by himself. To solo a large-scale dungeon. The corners of Meng Anwen's mouth twitched. You did the same when you were young. Bai Yiyuan chuckled. A true hero does not boast about his past exploits. Meng Anwen shook his head. I remember you went into Tyrant Desert while level 30, and then ran back with your tail between your legs. Bai Yiyuan's smile suddenly disappeared. He hurriedly drank some tea to cover up his embarrassment. As I said, a true hero does not boast about his past exploits. The entrance of Dungeon Hall is as lively as ever. Lin Moyu's arrival immediately caught the attention of many people. He is quite famous now. Although his level isn't high, but he has set new records for 2 consecutive days, and the results were quite astounding. Lin Moyu has come. He wants to clear a new dungeon. Is he going to set another record? I wonder what dungeon he will raid. Lin Moyu arrived at the mission center in the middle of Dungeon Hall and checked the posted missions. He found several missions related to Tyrant Desert. He can use them to gain some points. All of a sudden, he saw a mission related to the Tyrant's Heart. Someone is looking to buy the Tyrant's Heart, offering 100,000 points. This price is very high, unusually high. A level 25 dungeon, even if a large-scale dungeon, is ultimately only level 25. Can an item from such a dungeon be worth 100,000 points? 100,000 points is nearly enough to buy platinum rank equipment. Coupled with the fact that Bai Yiyuan also wants the Tyrant's Heart, Lin Moyu felt even more that the Tyrant's Heart is unusual. Junior Moyu, do you intend to raid a dungeon? Lin Moyu looked up and saw Shu Han standing beside him, a smile on her face. Lin Moyu just so happened to have some doubts. Senior, do you know about the Tyrant's Heart? I do. Shu Han responded instinctively. She then elaborated, the Tyrant's Heart is a material that will only drop by the final boss of Tyrant Desert. Alchemists can use the Tyrant's Heart to make the boss accessory, Tyrant's Necklace. So it's a special material, similar to the Goblin King's core, used to make a boss accessory. Boss accessory is a special type of accessory with some properties that ordinary accessories don't have. The Goblin King's ring, for instance, raises all skills by 1 level, irrespective of the class. Lin Moyu isn't sure that it is of use to him, but that doesn't affect its value. Shu Han continued, although the Tyrant's Necklace is a great treasure, but its main material, the Tyrant's Heart, is too difficult to obtain. Tyrant Desert is a large-scale dungeon, and there is no difficulty to choose from. The monsters inside are even more impressive than those of a nightmare-rank dungeon of the same level. Furthermore, the boss is a world-rank boss, and is extremely hard to defeat. Even if it's a complete party of 40 people, it's still time-consuming, labor-intensive, and highly dangerous. If you don't get it just right, it will all be in vain. The Tyrant's Heart will only drop once a year, and it has been 2 years since the last time it was dropped. Even though the difficulty is very high, but with so many people in the academy, Lin Moyu believes that there should have been parties to raid the dungeon. The tyrant must have been killed many times, so why hasn't anyone obtained the Tyrant's Heart until now? Lin Moyu asked, curious, how come? Shu Han tittered to herself. Lin Moyu speaks very little. She's trying to prod him to speak. This student, who is 2 years younger than her, seems quite fun to tease, as if he were her younger brother. Shu Han raised 2 fingers and said, there are 2 reasons. Firstly, the fewer people are raiding Tyrant Desert, the higher the probability that the Tyrant's Heart will drop. The number of people is tallied from the time they enter the dungeon. If someone withdraws halfway, it won't be taken into account. The second reason is the faster the tyrant is killed, the higher the probability that the tyrant's heart will drop. Upon hearing this, Lin Moyu finally understood. That is to say, the price of 100,000 points for the tyrant's heart offered by the mission in the mission center is way too low. Not to mention that Bai Yiyuan also wants it. After learning its worth, even if Bai Yiyuan didn't want it, Lin Moyu still wouldn't sell. Boss accessory, it would be nice to use it yourself. Thank you. Lin Moyu sincerely thanked Shu Han. He is generally not willing to speak this much. Shu Han giggled, "You're welcome. By the way, I heard the past couple of days that an institute is planning to organize a party to raid Tyrant Desert. Do you want to team up with them?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "I'm going by myself." Shu Han covered her small mouth, shocked. She thought Lin Moyu was going to look for a party. She didn't expect him to say he would go by himself. Unlike soloing ordinary dungeons, soloing large-scale dungeons is unheard of. This is something unheard of. This is simply inconceivable. Junior Moyu, you mustn't take this lightly, Shu Han said with concern. Lin Moyu chuckled and walked toward Tyrant Desert. The entrance vortex of a large-scale dungeon is much larger than that of an ordinary dungeon. Lin Moyu raised his head and looked at the light screen above the dungeon. The first record was set 4 years ago. Phylong Institute, 40 people, 16 hours, 45 minutes, and 18 seconds. Phylong Institute is an institute on the same level as Qianlong Institute. There are 6 institutes like this in the academy. In the academy, students are divided into 3 strata: ordinary students, independent institute students, and top institute students. The previous incident involving Ling Zhen nearly gave rise to a fight between ordinary students and institute students. Within the academy, there is competition. Shu Han said worriedly, "Junior Moyu, are you really going to solo the dungeon?" Lin Moyu nodded. Just as he was preparing to enter, an arrogant voice suddenly rose from behind. "Don't get in the way." Chapter 87. If successful, he will make history. 87. If successful, he will make history. Lin Moyu suddenly pulled Shu Han over. A knight in full armor walked past, a ferocious expression on his face. If it weren't for Lin Moyu's quick reaction, he might have bumped into Shu Han. There are many people following behind him. The knight has a burly figure, nearly 2 meters tall, giving off an intense sense of oppression. He glanced askance at Lin Moyu, full of disdain. Then he lifted his head proudly. "Today, Bailey Institute is going to set a new record for Tyrant Desert." Behind him, dozens of people echoed his words loudly. The current record for Tyrant Desert has stood for 4 years, established by Phylong Institute. No one has broken the record for 4 years. This shows how difficult of a dungeon Tyrant Desert is. Shu Han said quietly, "There have been rumors the past couple of days that Bailey Institute is going to raid Tyrant Dungeon. It is said they have made ample preparations, with several class users staying at level 30 for the sole purpose of raiding this dungeon. Some high-level students in their institute have prepared complete sets of gold rank equipment for them." Lin Moyu can understand their reasoning. Setting a new record not only earns a lot of points and contribution points, but also comes with honor. Institute students work hard to obtain honor. At the same time, it can also serve as a stepping stone for them to enter top institutes. The knight, representing Bailey Institute, loftily announced that he is going to clear Tyrant Desert and break the record set by Phylong Institute 4 years ago. Then he lowered his head and looked at Lin Moyu. "Please step aside." Lin Moyu didn't move. "I was here first," he said lightly, giving the other party no face. The knight furrowed his eyebrows. "You want to come with us to raid the dungeon?" "Sorry, but we have a mission to complete. We will carry you next time." Lin Moyu didn't know whether to be amused or annoyed. This guy is too self-involved. Lin Moyu never asked him to be carried. Seeing that Lin Moyu still didn't desist, the knight frowned, feeling a bit awkward and even more embarrassed, thinking that the other party is being really annoying. But with hundreds of pairs of eyes watching, he couldn't really do anything about Lin Moyu. "Let's leave it be," he barked. "Get ready, we're going to enter the dungeon." His words have just fallen, when he heard Lin Moyu say to Shu Han, "I'm going in." Shu Han nodded. "Be careful." Lin Moyu disappeared. The vortex of Tyrant Desert lit up, indicating that there is someone inside. Lin Moyu really went in. The corners of the knight's mouth twitched. Is the kid here to cause trouble? He must be tired of living. Suddenly, the entire dungeon hall became lively. I'll be damned, he really went in. To even solo Tyrant Desert, he is undoubtedly a big shot. I have never heard of anyone who was able to solo a large-scale dungeon. If successful, he will make history. I think he's unlikely to succeed. I've been to Tyrant Desert before. It's too dangerous. If you aren't careful, you will lose your life. If it were someone else, it would definitely be impossible. But this is him. There is a glimmer of hope. The lips of the knight leading the party of Bailey Institute twitched. The party of Bailey Institute made ample preparations, ready to set a record. But when they weren't paying attention, a lad went into the dungeon by himself. Lin Moyu is wearing silver rank equipment, while he himself is wearing a complete set of gold rank equipment. At this moment, the people of Bailey Institute felt a bit awkward. The knight noticed the decline in morale and realized he couldn't wait any longer. Enter the dungeon. Along with loud shouts, the students of Bailey Institute rushed over and teleported into the dungeon. The knight glanced at the light screen before entering the dungeon. 16 hours, 45 minutes, and 18 seconds, I will definitely break this record. Tyrant Desert is a large-scale dungeon, and it is level 25, so the fee has naturally increased. Lin Moyu paid 500 points when he went in. To dispel the cooldown time, it will cost 2,000 points. In order to raid the dungeon repeatedly, it will cost 2,500 points per raid. For the first time, Lin Moyu felt that the remaining 120,000 points won't last long. It turns out that points are this fleeting. I hope the reward for breaking the record is sizable. Warm wind swept through, raising yellow sand into the air. Scorching sun overhead, burning hot sunlight, and rising temperature, they all told him that the environment here is very harsh. Not far away, there are sand dunes blocking the view. Lin Moyu found himself in a basin surrounded by sand dunes. A large number of skeletal warriors, for a total of 125, appeared and quickly ran in different directions. The topographic map of the surroundings appeared in his mind. Lin Moyu walked up a sand dune and saw an endless desert. There is nothing to orient yourself by. The scorching sun hung directly above his head, and so couldn't be used to guide him. This is a dungeon, not the real world. The scorching sun overhead can't move and can't point out the cardinal directions. Seeing as the record for this dungeon is 16 hours, its scale must be unprecedentedly massive. As he mused, a skeletal warrior suddenly sent a warning. Encountered enemy. A withered tree branch suddenly sprang out of the desert and coiled around the skeletal warrior. The skeletal warrior, whose strength attribute has reached 12,000, promptly brandished its large blade and directly severed the withered tree branch. Next, a large tree sprang up from the desert. The tree is 10 meters high, and is covered with withered tree branches. As soon as it emerged, it launched a frenzied assault against the skeletal warrior. The skeletal warrior kept brandishing its large blade, and withered tree branches flew into the air. In the blink of an eye, there was only a tree trunk left, at its last gasp. Lin Moyu arrived before the large tree died, and detection flew out. Desert Woodwraith, Super Enhanced Elite Monster. Level 25, Strength 5,000, Agility 1,000, Spirit 2,000, Physique 6,000, Skills, Death Coil. Judging by its attributes, it is quite close to the standard of the skeletal warriors before the upgrade. It's even stronger than the leader rank Python of Mermaid Dungeon. That's a large-scale dungeon for you. A mere mob is already comparable to the level 24 leader of Mermaid Dungeon. If it weren't for the fact that the skeletal warrior was upgraded, it would take some effort to deal with it. If it were a previous bronze skeletal warrior, with its attributes of 6,200 points, the Desert Woodwraith would naturally pose no problem, but it would take some effort to deal with it. After Lin Moyu saw the opponent's attributes, he gained a rough idea of the dungeon's monsters. Killed level 25 Desert Woodwraith, EXP plus 300,000. Obtained Woodwraith's Tree Branch X5. Not only are its attributes at the level of a leader, but the same is true from the express it provides. Killing one monster yields 300,000 EXP, which is quite a lot. Skeletal warriors met enemies one after another, all Desert Woodwraiths. This area of the desert seems to be the territory of Desert Woodwraiths. They are many in number, and are scattered all around. They are usually hidden in the desert. When someone passes by, they will immediately launch an attack. Skill, Bone Armor. Lin Moyu pressed his palm down and equipped the bone armor. A set of armor composed of bones appeared on his body, emitting silver-white light in the sunlight. He had the skeletal warriors continue to explore the desert. The range of iron skeletal warriors is only 500 meters. At the bronze rank, the range reached 1000 meters. Now that they are silver rank, their range has reached 2000 meters. Lin Moyu advanced along a path that a skeletal warrior passed through. As more and more areas were explored, the map in Lin Moyu's mind expanded and became increasingly more complete. An hour has passed. Lin Moyu has explored a vast area. Everywhere, there is yellow sand. Apart from yellow sand, there are also desert woodwraiths. He hasn't encountered any other monsters. After 2 hours of exploration, a different prompt finally appeared in his mind. Water. Water was discovered. Lin Moyu hurried over. Standing on a sand dune, he saw an oasis. The oasis waterway snaked into the distance. He promptly retrieved the skeletal warriors that went in other directions. A large number of skeletal warriors appeared in front of him in an instant, and then rushed toward the oasis. An oasis in the desert is an indication of danger. The skeletal warriors forged a path ahead. The skeletal warriors have just reached the edge of the oasis, when loud noise rose, and water splashed. Then a large number of giant scorpions rushed out of the oasis. Lin Moyu didn't panic. At this time, he was still on the sand dune. Detection surged like a gentle breeze. Oasis scorpion. Level 25. Strength 4000. Agility 3000. Spirit 2000. Physique 6000. Skill poison sting. Each scorpion is 2 meters tall and more than 5 meters long, tail included. The tail is crested by huge poisonous stingers, arranged like the petals of a flower, emitting faint blue light in the sunlight, looking quite ferocious and daunting. More than 100 oasis scorpions charged toward the skeletal warriors. Not the least bit intimidated, the skeletal warriors raised their large blades. If it were another party, when approaching the oasis, they would certainly tread lightly, slowly drawing one monster after another. But not Lin Moyu. His approach is straightforward. 10 skeletal warriors wielded their large blades and showcased their skill. Skill, Berserk Strike. They unleashed a strike with 3 times the attack power of their strength attribute. The large blades unleashed red light that obstructed the sunlight. An oasis scorpion screeched, and was instantly killed. Killed level 25 oasis scorpion, EXP plus 300,000. Obtained Stinger X3. After 2 seconds, other oasis scorpions had already approached. Lin Moyu raised his hand. Skill, Corpse Explosion. Chapter 88. Holy Land for Training Skills. 88 Holy Land for Training Skills. A loud boom rose, and yellow sand splashed about. Oasis scorpions wrapped in yellow sand were blown away. Bodies tumbled in the air. Lin Moyu activated his skill repeatedly, and explosions sounded one after another. Large craters appeared. Yellow sand fell down like rain, burying oasis scorpions that were killed in the explosions. Lin Moyu harvested a large amount of express, and dropped materials poured into the storage space. The express provided by each monster is equivalent to that of more than 1000 small spiders in spider nest. A single batch of monsters increased his express by 8%. Nice. Lin Moyu let out a soft shout in his heart. Despite having reached level 20, express unexpectedly still was accumulated that quickly. If he can keep hunting monsters like this, then leveling up will be as easy as drinking and eating. In front of Lin Moyu, monsters that others have to tread lightly with are no different from vegetables on the chopping board. Express accumulated like raindrops. Not only express, but the same was true for materials. In the blink of an eye, the monsters at the edge of the oasis were cleared. Lin Moyu followed the skeletal warriors and advanced along the waterway. The waterway snaked into the distance. Lin Moyu doesn't know if this is the right direction. At present, there is only one path that can be taken. The rest of the place is covered in yellow sand, where no direction can be distinguished. There is a large number of oasis scorpions living on both sides of the waterway, buried underneath yellow sand, only their tails exposed. From a distance, they look like spikes. As the skeletal warriors advanced, these spikes were removed one after another, leaving only corpses behind. At the same time, a large number of skeletal warriors scattered on both sides, moving in the same general direction as Lin Moyu, clearing desert woodwraiths in their way. Their numbers aren't particularly large, but every bit of express counts. The terrain of Tyrant Desert is really large. After walking along the waterway for over an hour, another scenery finally appeared in front of Lin Moyu. A mountain appeared at the end of the waterway. Lin Moyu learned why other parties take so long to advance in here. First you have to find the way, and then you have to deal with the oasis scorpions along the way. Each one of these monsters is as strong as leader monsters of other dungeons. A typical party, even a complete party of 40 people, requires a lot of time to forge ahead. The waterway ended and disappeared underground. A few sparse plants appeared, all cacti. There is a large number of ants crawling next to the cacti. These are no ordinary ants. In fact, they are each more than 1 meter long, and they have sharp mandibles exposed. Their legs are covered in barbs, as if sharp blades. Desert Young Ant Enhanced Elite Monster. Level, 25. Strength, 2500. Agility, 2000. Spirit, 1000. Physique, 3000. Skills, none. Compared to Oasis Scorpions, they are weaker. They are classified as Enhanced Elite Monsters, similar to monsters of Nightmare rank dungeons of the same level. But the quantity, and they are young ants. Ants are social insects that live in large groups. They have a strict social structure, with clear division of labor. Young ants are merely the weakest link. If even young ants are enhanced elite monsters, then what about worker ants and soldier ants? Lin Moyu braced himself for a large amount of express. His detection caught their attention. A few young ants raised their heads and looked at him. In the next moment, they screeched and rushed toward him. Their speed is very fast. In fact, it feels like they exceeded the speed that 2000 points of agility should be able to unleash. Although they are fast, but skeletal warriors are faster. Several skeletal warriors blocked in front of them and swung their blades. Along with 2 clicking sounds, the other side was dispatched in an instant, without any suspense. The gap in attributes between the two sides is simply too large. With attributes of 12,000 points, the skeletal warriors possess overwhelming combat power. The skeletal warriors rushed out and killed the nearby young ants one by one. Killed level 25 Desert Young Ant, EXP plus 50,000. Obtained Ant Mandibles X3. Killed level 25 Desert Young Ant, EXP plus 50,000. Obtained Ant Mandibles X3. Express rose steadily. It has been over 4 hours since Lin Moyu entered the dungeon. During this time, his express has risen to 15%. After a while, the swarm was routed, with only scattered ants remaining. The efficiency has naturally decreased significantly. What is this? Lin Moyu saw strange-looking cacti. There are small deep blue fruits that look like grapes hanging from the cacti. When in doubt, use detection. Desert fruit can quickly restore a large amount of spirit force, has to be consumed within 5 minutes after being picked, can't be stored. At this moment, squeaks sounded. A large number of young ants emerged from the ground and quickly surrounded him. There are more than 100 young ants. The young ants screeched angrily at Lin Moyu, as if warning him to stay away from the desert fruits. The answer they received was the large blades of the skeletal warriors slashing toward them. Lin Moyu looked ahead and saw a mountain blocking the way. The mountain has a steep cliff, making it difficult to climb. At the foot of the mountain, there are several caves. There seem to be ants at the caves. Ant colony. Lin Moyu realized that this is an ant colony. In order to cross the mountain, you have to go through the ant colony. There are 5 entrances. Lin Moyu doesn't know which one is the right path. With a thought from Lin Moyu, 50 skeletal warriors organized into 5 groups ran toward the 5 entrances. Lin Moyu himself picked a desert fruit and stuffed it into his mouth. Unlike what he imagined, the desert fruit isn't sour, but rather has a pinch of sweetness. It tastes pretty good. Whether it's in terms of taste or appearance, it is similar to a grape. By this time, his spirit force had been depleted by more than half. After taking the desert fruit, his spirit force began to be restored rapidly. In less than a minute, his spirit force was almost completely restored. Lin Moyu couldn't help but reveal a shocked expression. It should be mentioned that his total amount of spirit force is 2,900. With the boost provided by the spirit set, his spirit force is at least twice as high as that of mages of the same level. The effect of the desert fruit is wonderful. The effectiveness of the desert fruit is 10 times faster than meditation in the skill training center. At the patches of special cacti, there is a large number of desert fruits. Lin Moyu made a prompt decision. Skeletal mages were summoned one by one. A large amount of spirit force, which was about to be fully restored, was once again consumed. When his spirit force was depleted, the skeletal mages Lin Moyu summoned were all dispelled. At this point, the effect of the desert fruit has not yet disappeared, and so his spirit force was restored rapidly. When some of his spirit force was restored, Lin Moyu began to summon skeletal mages again. When the effect of the fruit disappeared completely, Lin Moyu took another desert fruit and then proceeded to wait for his spirit force to be restored. Skeletal mages appeared and quickly disappeared. This place turned out to be optimal for training skills. With just this, Lin Moyu felt that the trip was worth it. Since there is no need to worry about the consumption of spirit force, the speed of training skills can be raised to the limit. As he was training his skill, the skeletal warriors had rushed into the ant colony. The range of the skeletal warriors is 2,000 meters. This is in a straight line, and it won't change due to the complex terrain. There are more ants in the ant colony. Killed level 25 desert young ant, EXP plus 50,000. Obtained ant mandibles x3. Killed level 26 desert worker ant, EXP plus 330,000. Obtained ant mandibles x6. Shortly after drilling into the colony, the skeletal warriors encountered desert worker ants. Judging from experience, desert worker ants are clearly classified as super enhanced elite monsters. Their level has reached level 26, and they provide more express. Lin Moyu no longer concerned himself with skeletal warriors and let them fight freely and explore the colony. He began to train his skill in earnest. After using Summon Skeletal Mage more than 100 times in a row, the skill finally reached level 3. But this is just the beginning. Lin Moyu couldn't get enough of it. This is simply a holy land for training skills. As time passed, Lin Moyu never stopped using his skill, summoning skeletal mages unrestrainedly. As he consumed desert fruits one after another, his spirit force was perpetually in a state of rapid restoration. After 10 minutes, the skill leveled up by 1 level again. The speed is much faster than in the skill training center. In the ant colony, the skeletal warriors continued to explore and advance, and the map in Lin Moyu's mind gradually expanded. At this time, his express has reached 17%. After 3 hours, Lin Moyu gradually stopped. By this time, the desert fruits have all been consumed, and the skill Summon Skeletal Mage has been upgraded to level 20. Lin Moyu checked the attributes of the skeletal mages, and his eyes sparkled with satisfaction. Silver Skeletal Mage. Strength, 6,000. Agility, 6,000. Spirit, 24,000. Physique, 6,000. Skill, Frozen Tempest. Frozen Tempest forms an ice storm within its range and deals ice elemental damage to the target. Attack power depends on spirit force. Standing in front of him is an ice-type skeletal mage. Cold light is flickering in both of its palms. Ice appears and dissipates continuously. Occasionally, the sound of ice cracking rises. After a 30-fold amplification, its spirit force reached 24,000. Lin Moyu can imagine how scary the skeletal mage's attack power would be. Furthermore, its skill, Frozen Tempest, is an AoE offensive skill. Lin Moyu pointed in a direction and ordered the skeletal mage to use its skill, and the skeletal mage released cold light from its palms. Chapter 89. Silver Skeletal Mages, Ant Colony. 89 Silver Skeletal Mages, Ant Colony. Under Lin Moyu's gaze, cold light exploded. In an instant, large chunks of ice broke out and shot in the air like raindrops. The scorching desert was immediately frozen into ice. Frozen Tempest lasted for a total of 10 seconds, covering a range of 10 meters, before ending. It's an AoE offensive skill with great power. The 24,000 points of spirit force are not just for show. Since they stem from a skill that was only acquired at level 20, skeletal mages are more formidable than skeletal warriors. Nevertheless, the two kinds of skeletons each have their own uses. But skeletal mages also have a drawback: they require a lot of spirit force to be spent. While summoning a skeletal warrior only requires 500 points, summoning a skeletal mage requires a total of 1,500 points of spirit force, which is 3 times as much. If it weren't for the 3-piece spirit set, with solely his base 1,300 points of spirit force, he wouldn't be able to summon a single level 20 skeletal mage. On the other hand, who at level 20 can acquire a new skill and upgrade it to level 20? Basically no one. There weren't many desert fruits left. Most of them were used in the later half of training the skill Summon Skeletal Mage. Especially after level 15, consumption was extremely fast. It was almost to the point that summoning a few times would use up 1 desert fruit. If only they could be taken out of the dungeon. Unfortunately, desert fruits can't be preserved and thus can't be taken out of the dungeon. They need to be eaten within 5 minutes after being picked, or else they will lose effect. Otherwise, Lin Moyu would really love to come here a few more times and take away a large number of desert fruits. The rest can't be wasted. Let's use them to fill up the slots of the summon space with skeletal mages. He currently has 125 skeletal warriors and 1 skeletal mage, and there are still 74 vacant slots in the summon space. Since there are still some desert fruits left, Lin Moyu plans to fill these slots. He ate a desert fruit and then summoned 5 skeletal warriors, bringing the number of skeletal warriors to 130. Then he began to furiously summon skeletal mages. The type of the summoned skeletal mages is random and is out of Lin Moyu's hands. Gusts of cold wind broke out, and particles of different elements surged. Fire type, wind type, lightning type. Skeletal mages of different types appeared next to Lin Moyu one after another. No matter the type, the attributes of the skeletal mages are the same. The difference lies in their skill. Fire skeletal mage. Skill, flame burst. Flame burst. Deals fire elemental damage to the target, attack power depends on spirit force. Ice skeletal mage. Skill, frozen tempest. Frozen tempest. Forms an ice storm within its range and deals ice elemental damage to the target, its power depends on spirit force. Wind skeletal mage. Skill, cyclone storm. Cyclone storm. Forms a tornado within its range and deals wind elemental damage to the target, attack power depends on spirit force. Lightning skeletal mage. Skill, thunderstruck. Thunderstruck. Deals lightning elemental damage to the target, attack power depends on spirit force. The skill of the fire and lightning type skeletal mages are single target attacks, while the skill of the ice and wind type skeletal mages are AoE attacks. Compared to skeletal warriors, their silver frames are a bit shorter, but the soul fire in their heads is more vigorous. Elemental particles rolled and flowed in their hands, showcasing tremendous power. Lin Moyu thinks that his skeletal mages are capable of instantly killing mage class users of the same level. By the time the desert fruits were all consumed, the summon space was filled at last. 130 skeletal warriors and 70 skeletal mages, a total of 200 skeletons, formed a skeletal army. With the skeletal army, Lin Moyu believes that dungeons of the same level can be swept with ease. Not to mention nightmare rank dungeons, even hell rank dungeons pose no problem. Just like Tyrant Desert, a large-scale dungeon that requires a party of 40 people to be cleared, he can sweep it with ease. The skeletal army is much more powerful than a party composed of 40 people. When I come next time, I'll train another skill. In addition to summon skeletal mage, Lin Moyu still has bone armor and slowing curse to train. So long as he has a bountiful supply of spirit force, these two skills will pose no difficult. Corpse explosion, however, is an exception. After all, there aren't that many corpses. When monsters in a dungeon are killed, their corpses will disappear soon after. Furthermore, he can't overuse the skill. He still needs to leave some spirit force in case there's an emergency. It took about 4 hours to train the skill. Since he entered the dungeon, over 8 hours have passed already. At this point, the terrain in the ant colony has been roughly explored and mapped out. The skeletal warriors advanced 2,000 meters and explored things within that range. Lin Moyu found that the entrances are actually interconnected, making it rather similar to Spider Nest. However, the ant colony is much larger than Spider Nest, with the area covered by the skeletal warriors being only a small portion of the whole. As Lin Moyu entered the colony and narrowed the distance, the skeletal warriors began to advance again. They darted through the colony's caves, exploring the terrain for him. The ant colony is full of twists and turns, as if a vast, intricate maze without a boundary. Lin Moyu could only choose a direction and proceeded forward. Killed level 26 Desert Soldier Ant, EXP plus 330,000. Obtained Ant Mandibles X5. Lin Moyu suddenly received a distinct message. Soldier ants appeared somewhere in the colony. Soldier ants are responsible for protecting the queen ant. Finding soldier ants indicates that the queen ant is not too far away. Lin Moyu immediately rushed toward the direction of the soldier ants. All other skeletons also proceeded toward the same direction. As the skeletons advanced, more and more soldier ants emerged. Lin Moyu stepped into a wide cavern. A large number of soldier ants were awakened by him. More than 100 soldier ants awakened at the same time. They shook themselves and unleashed strange sounds, and then charged toward Lin Moyu. Soldier ant camp. Lin Moyu mused. In an ant colony, soldiers' ants will have their own camps. Needless to say, this is one such camp, and there is bound to be more than one. The skeletal warriors took the lead in welcoming the opponent, while the skeletal mages followed suit. This is the first battle the skeletal mages are taking part in. Skill: Flame Burst. Skill: Frozen Tempest. Skill: Cyclone Storm. Skill: Thunderstruck. 70 skeletal mages attacked simultaneously. In an instant, elemental particles surged, and magic spells flew out chaotically. The cavern was filled with rumbles and colorful lights. Lin Moyu's eyes were dazzled. When the skeletal warriors reached the soldier ants have already suffered heavy casualties. With their 24,000 points of spirit force, the skeletal mages unleashed terrific destructive power, surpassing class users of the same level by far. Even level 30 class users can't deal as much damage as the skeletal mages. In just over 10 seconds, the more than 100 soldier ants were slaughtered. Although it can't compare to Corpse Explosion in terms of speed, but it can save him effort. Lin Moyu can just stand there and watch the fireworks. Indeed, this is quite beautiful, much more so than Corpse Explosion. Since a soldier ant camp has appeared, Lin Moyu believes that he should be on the right track. The skeletal army proceeded forward and discovered soldier ant camps one after another, each bigger than the last one. Express rose at an astonishing rate. At this point, it has already reached 32%. The skeletal army pushed forward unobstructed and finally entered the depths of the ant colony. Droning sounds rose. The skeletal warriors turned a corner and suddenly encountered a group of flying ants. Desert Flying Ant, Super Enhanced Elite Monster. Level: 27. Strength: 6,000. Agility: 3,000. Spirit: 3,000. Physique: 7,000. The skeletal warriors reacted extremely quickly and promptly engaged the flying ants. The skeletal warriors have an overwhelming advantage in terms of attributes. With their 12,000 points of strength, the skeletal warriors dealt heavy damage to the flying ants, nearly claiming their lives. On the other hand, the flying ants found it difficult to deal much damage to the skeletal warriors. The flying ants can't break through their physique. After a short while, the group of flying ants was eliminated. Killed level 27 Desert Flying Ant, EXP plus 360,000. Obtained Flying Ant Wing X2. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up. Fetching flying ant wings is one of the missions related to Tyrant Desert, with each wing being worth 5,000 gold coins. After the flying ants appeared, Lin Moyu was completely certain that he has taken the right path. The flying ants can be considered as the queen ant's personal guards and will never stay far away from the queen ant. Moreover, the number of flying ants in an ant colony won't be particularly high, at least much lower than that of soldier ants and worker ants. The skeletal army proceeded ahead and encountered more flying ants along the way. But unlike soldier ants, flying ants have no camps. They usually only appear in teams of 3. The skeletal warriors cleared the teams of flying ants one after another. After staying in the ant colony for nearly 2 hours, Lin Moyu finally reached the end, and a huge ant appeared in front of him. This ant is 10 meters tall and has a bloated body, looking quite unwieldy. On its back, there are 3 pairs of huge wings, which vibrate and make an uncomfortable noise from time to time. In front of it, there are 4 smaller ants, over 6 meters tall. The 4 ants have wings on their backs and legs that resemble giant sickles, looking quite dreadful. Is this the dungeon's final boss? Feeling doubtful, Lin Moyu launched detection. The skeletal warriors also rushed over. Chapter 90. If only there were this many monsters all the time. 90 If only there were this many monsters all the time. Desert Queen Ant Boss Monster. Level: 28. Strength: 9,000. Agility: 3,000. Spirit: 8,000. Physique: 8,000. Skills: Summon Ants, Sonic Wave Attack, Windstorm Strike, Huddle. Thanks to detection, Lin Moyu viewed the Desert Queen Ant's information. It is not the final boss. The final boss of Tyrant Desert should contain the word Tyrant, and it should be a world rank boss. The Queen Ant in front of him is a mere boss monster. Its attributes aren't very high either. Detection also fell on the 4 giant ants in front of the Queen. Queen Ant's personal guard, Super Enhanced Elite Monster. Level: 27. Strength: 5,000. Agility: 4,000. Spirit: 3,000. Physique: 7,000. Skill: Shell Harden. The strength, agility, and spirit of the 4 Queen Ant's personal guards are all average. Only their physique is rather high. Coupled with their skill, they are basically Meat Shield incarnate. With them around, the safety of the Queen Ant can be greatly upgraded. The queen ant is the most important individual in the entire ant colony, so there is no room for error. Other parties have a headache when they see the 4 personal guards. They need to find a way to kill them one by one. As for Lin Moyu, their presence made things easier. By the time he used detection, the skeletal warriors have already rushed out. The queen ant's personal guards have also rushed forward. The wings of the queen ant vibrated, and she suddenly let out a sharp cry. Skill: Sonic Wave Attack. The terrifying sound echoed back and forth in the ant colony. The bone armor on Lin Moyu's body erupted with silver-white light, resisting the attack. At the same time, the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages were also attacked. It is an indiscriminate AoE attack with a vast range. Fortunately, its power isn't particularly great. Lin Moyu's bone armor withstood it successfully. As for the skeletal warriors, they were able to resist it with ease. With their 12,000 points of physique, they can withstand most attacks. Kill 1. Following Lin Moyu's command, the skeletal warriors unleashed their skill. Rich red light rose on the large blades. Skill: Berserk Strike. The skeletal mages behind them also cast their skills in a flash. Following Lin Moyu's command, they targeted the same queen ant's personal guard. Fire, ice, wind, and lightning elemental particles broke out and bloomed beautifully like fireworks. After the dazzling glow surged, the personal guard was killed in an instant. Killed level 27 queen ant's personal guard, EXP plus 390,000. Obtained flying ant wing x10. Lin Moyu promptly raised his hand. Skill: Corpse Explosion. Boom. Along with a loud blare, the other 3 queen ants' personal guard were blown away. They didn't die. Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback. The 3 queen ants' personal guards actually endured the corpse explosion. That was 450% of the corpse's health as damage. Monsters of the same kind shouldn't have been able to withstand it. Upon closer inspection, he discovered that all 3 queen ants' personal guards were shining with a metallic luster, as if covered in an armor. Skill: Shell Harden. Lin Moyu understood at once. The 3 personal guards used their skill to resist corpse explosion. The effect of this skill should be the same as a knight's extreme defense, greatly increasing defense. The effect is pretty good. But I wonder how long they can last. The skeletal warriors rushed over lightning fast and surrounded them when they landed. At this time, the skills of the skeletal mages have also arrived, striking from different directions. The 3 queen ants' personal guards, who glittered with skill light, became extremely tough. At the same time, they brandished their sickle-like legs and whipped the skeletal warriors. With their 12,000 points of physique, it is difficult to harm the skeletal warriors. The queen ants' personal guards, with their 5,000 points of strength, naturally couldn't cause too much damage to the skeletal warriors. They stood no chance against the skeletal warriors in a one-on-one fight, not to mention that there are 130 skeletal warriors, as well as 70 skeletal mages in the rear. This fight is thoroughly unbalanced. Attacks pelted the queen ant's personal guards, and their luster dimmed quickly. Suddenly, the queen ant flapped her wings again, unleashing a fierce wind. The wind swept out like a storm. Skill: Windstorm Strike. A large number of skeletal warriors were blown away and torn by the fierce wind in the air. The skeletal warriors received damage. Although the damage isn't significant, but it is enough to demonstrate the power of the queen ant's skill. Lin Moyu has the passive skill Elemental Resistance. After being amplified, it can reduce elemental damage by 3 times. Nevertheless, the skeletal warriors still took damage. But without elemental resistance, the damage would have been more severe. If other class users had faced the queen ant's skill instead, they might have been killed in a flash. Lin Moyu's complexion changed, and he quickly took 2 steps back and stood behind the skeletal mages. Skill: Bone Armor. He refreshed the armor on his body. The fierce wind reached the skeletal mages, whose physique is lower than that of the skeletal warriors, and they swayed unsteadily. Fortunately, when the skill reached him, it has lost a large chunk of its power. The bone armor flashed, blocking the attack. Lin Moyu is aware that the biggest weakness of the skeletal army is he himself. Even with bone armor, his defense still remains the weakest. If he receives severe damage, the damage will be transferred to his skeletons, and the skeletons will suffer severe damage. The damage is calculated based on his defense, disregarding the defense of the skeletons. Therefore, he tries to avoid getting damage as much as possible. The storm lasted for a full 20 seconds before stopping. The skeletal warriors fell to the ground, and then quickly got up and charged. Without a sense of pain, without a sense of fear, they are perfect soldiers, only following Lin Moyu's commands. The same is true for the skeletal mages. They unleashed their skills at once. Fire, lightning, ice, and wind erupted again. The skill of the Queen Ant's personal guards finally ended, and they became vulnerable once again. Accompanied by a screech, a Queen Ant's personal guard died. Lin Moyu took action without hesitation. Skill, corpse explosion. Boom boom boom. Lin Moyu cast core explosion 3 times in a row. The first explosion killed the other 2 Queen Ant's personal guards and injured the Queen Ant, followed by the second and third explosions. The Queen Ant, wings blown off and body bloodied by the explosions, unleashed miserable screeches. The 3 explosions nearly brought it to the brink of death. Suddenly, the Queen Ant began to shrink back and curl up. Skill, huddle. A crystalline membrane appeared on its body. The membrane has extremely strong defense. The large blades of the skeletal warriors couldn't cut it apart. Even the attacks of the skeletal mages couldn't break through for the moment. It's a skill similar to extreme defense. Let's see how long you can hold on. Such a skill must have a time limit. Furthermore, the stronger the attacks it is subjected to, the shorter its duration. The skeletal warriors and the skeletal mages attacked without stop. Different attacks kept landing on the Queen Ant. After the Queen Ant curled up, its screeches never stopped. The screeches echoed through the entire ant colony. After a short moment, crawling sounds rose. Lin Moyu turned and saw a large number of ants rush frenziedly this way from different tunnels. This is the Queen Ant's skill, summon ants. The Queen Ant used her skill to summon all the ants in the ant colony. Lin Moyu didn't panic, but instead showed a strange smile. What a boon. Lin Moyu rarely smiles, but when he smiles, there must be something really good. A dozen plus skeletal warriors attacking the Queen Ant suddenly disappeared and then appeared in front of Lin Moyu. They quickly welcomed the incoming ant swarm. Some skeletal mages turned their attention to the ant swarm. A barrage instantly killed a flying ant, then blasts sounded one after another. Corpse explosion erupted again and again, killing a large amount of ants each time. No matter how many ants there are, they shouldn't even think about getting close. Express soared as if a rocket. It seems that all the ants in the ant colony have responded to the Queen Ant's call. Lin Moyu isn't sure how many there are, but there are many. You can see this from his express. When he entered the ant colony, his express was at 38%, but now it has reached 65% and is still rising. If this many monsters came at him all the time, his leveling speed would definitely be much faster than that of anyone else. At last, the Queen Ant's skill came to an end. There were no more ants rushing this way. Lin Moyu let out a sigh of pity. At this point, his express has reached 78%, which represents a 40% increase since he entered the ant colony. When the skill terminated, the Queen Ant extended her body again. All the injuries she sustained were unexpectedly healed, and even her wings had regrown. It actually has a healing effect. Lin Moyu waved his hand, and his skeletal army besieged the Queen Ant once again. The Queen Ant flapped her wings, and her wings slashed the skeletal warriors as if large blades, sending them flying. Unfortunately, the damage wasn't significant. These skeletal warriors rose onto their feet right away and rushed back. In an instant, the Queen Ant was seriously injured once again. The Queen Ant's skill seems to have entered a cooldown period, unable to be used for the time being. As the injuries covering her body became increasingly more severe, the Queen Ant screeched miserably. The 130 skeletal warriors and 70 skeletal mages unleashed a full-scale assault. After holding on for just over a dozen seconds, the Queen Ant collapsed to the ground with a bang. Killed Desert Queen Ant, EXP plus 800,000. Obtained Silver Rank Weapon, Queen Ant's Spear. Obtained Silver Rank Accessory, Queen Ant's Ring. Obtained Desert Queen Ant's Egg. Obtained Elementary Monster Core. Queen Ant's Spear. Silver Rank Weapon, Strength plus 80, Physique plus 80, increases the power of spear-type skills by 13%, usable after level 20. Queen Ant's Ring. Silver Rank Accessory, Spirit plus 50, Physique plus 50, increases the restoration of spirit force by 10%, usable after level 20. Desert Queen Ant's Egg. An egg of the Desert Queen Ant, can be hatched by a beast tamer and turned into a Queen Ant. Chapter 91. Since it's not possible to go from above, then let's go from below. 91. Since it's not possible to go from above, then let's go from below. Desert Queen Ant's Egg. Lin Moyu looked at the transparent object shaped like an egg in his palm. If a beast tamer were to get his hands on this thing, he would be able to hatch a desert queen ant. With a queen ant, an untold number of ants can be raised. So long as the beast tamer controls the queen ant, the ants will be at his beck and call. Although the level of the desert queen ant isn't high, but the level of tamed beasts can be increased. Lin Moyu believes that this thing should be quite valuable. He can ask about it once he's back. As for the 2 silver rank equipment, they are dispensable to him. That means they can be exchanged for some money. 1 minute after the queen ant was killed, the corpse disappeared, revealing a passage. The skeletal warriors ran into the passage first. After entering the ant colony, they have been advancing downward. The passage, on the other hand, leads upward. There were no monsters in the passage. After a while, sunlight emerged again. The underground's shade gave way to scorching heat. Yellow sand extending without end materialized once more. It's hotter here than on the other side, as if the place were a grill. Behind the exit, there is a steep cliff with trees. A mountain separates the dungeon in 2. To arrive here, you must cross the ant colony. It has been 11 hours since Lin Moyu entered the dungeon. This dungeon is too large. Too much time has been wasted on searching the path. The skeletal warriors quickly moved forward. They must hurry. The longer time drags on, the lower the chance that the tyrant's heart will drop. Suddenly, a beam of light dropped and landed on Lin Moyu. The bone armor emitted dazzling white light to block the attack. The attack is very strong, so the bone armor is rapidly collapsing. Lin Moyu was startled, then quickly retreated. Thereupon, the beam hit the desert, and sand exploded into the air. Then came another beam. The skeletal warriors quickly formed a wall to protect him. Looking in the direction the beams came from, Lin Moyu saw the attacker. It's a monster that he has never seen before. The monster floated about 10 meters above the ground. Its shape is that of a huge ball, about 2 meters in diameter. In the middle of the ball, there is an eye. The eye occupies 80% of the monster's body. It is roughly 100 meters away. It launched an attack from a long distance. Furthermore, it didn't target the skeletons, but attacked Lin Moyu himself. This monster is a bit interesting. When their master was attacked, the skeletal warriors rushed over at once. After attacking twice and seeing that it was of no use, the monster turned around and fled. The skeletal mages launched an attack. Without giving it a chance to escape, the skeletal mages unleashed an overwhelming offensive. At the same time, Lin Moyu's detection flew out. Legazer Super Enhanced Elite Monster. Level 28, Strength 500, Agility 2000, Spirit 6500, Physique 3000, Skill Destructive Beam. So it's a mage-type monster. Seeing the high spirit attribute, Lin Moyu realized that this monster belongs to the mage category. Mage-type monsters are quite common, but this is the first time he has seen such a pure mage-type monster. Compared to ordinary monsters of the same level, its strength attribute is not up to par. It looks as if its spirit attribute was maximized. The power of the destructive beam is indeed quite considerable. With just one strike, it almost shattered Lin Moyu's bone armor. The key point is that it can fly and launch attacks from 100 meters away. And when it finds that its attacks are ineffective, it can run away. This shows that it's really not easy to deal with this monster. However, there are many skeletal mages under Lin Moyu's command, and the attack power they can unleash is scary. Under a round of concentrated fire, the Legazer was killed in an instant. Killed level 28 Legazer, EXP plus 420,000. Obtained Elementary Legazer Core. Elementary Legazer Core. A magic item that alchemists can use to refine items and Formation Master can use to lay formations. Lin Moyu took a glance at the Legazer Core and then put it away. This thing seems quite useful, but its rank is too low. Anything that is elementary rank is basically used below level 40. Once it exceeds level 40, it is considered intermediate rank. Above level 70, it is classified as advanced rank. Generally speaking, except for some special items, anything that is of elementary rank won't be too valuable. After going through this experience, Lin Moyu began to pay attention to the sky. The skeletal warriors also paid attention to the sky as they advanced. Soon, a huge construction appeared in sight. It looks like a castle. Outside the castle, there are huts arranged in an array. It's a military camp, with numerous beastmen moving about. In the military camp, There is even a drill ground, where military formations are practiced. Lin Moyu started to understand the meaning behind the word tyrant. It means king. The monsters in the military camp have a lion head, a body covered in fur, and a height of more than 3 meters. They are wearing armor, and their movements are orderly, looking quite imposing. These aren't scattered monsters that can be easily taken down one by one. In here, if you aren't careful, you will have to face more than 10 monsters at the same time. These are no ordinary monsters, but super enhanced elite monsters. They are more powerful than monsters of the same level in nightmare rank dungeons. Even if it's a party of 40, they will find it very challenging to deal with them. And it will require good cooperation, top-notch equipment, and comprehensive skills. Unless it's someone like Lin Moyu, who can crush anything in their way with absolute force. The skeletal warriors initiated a charge. The skeletal mages followed closely behind. The Legazer floating above the military camp discovered the skeletal warriors in a flash. A warning was immediately issued. The gate of the military camp opened, and a troop of more than 100 individuals rushed out. This is a gameplay that is characteristic of Lin Moyu. At this time, he wondered what others would have done in his place. They would probably first have a long-range class user draw over the Legazer and then eliminate it. Then gradually eliminate the monsters in the military camp. After all, facing the Beastman army directly like him would be suicidal. Lin Moyu forged ahead together with the skeletal mages and released detection. Desert Lionman Warrior, Super Enhanced Elite Monster. Level 28, Strength 6,500, Agility 5,000, Spirit 2,000, Physique 5,000, Skills none. Compared to the flying ants, the Lionman warriors have higher strength and agility. The high strength and agility greatly enhances their combat power. On the other hand, their physique is lower than that of the ants, only 5,000. Unlike the ants, they have no carapace protecting their body. Seeing the armor they were wearing, Lin Moyu felt that the 5,000 points of physique may be a bit exaggerated. Before the skeletal warriors and the Lionman warriors collided, the skills of the skeletal mages have already arrived. Skill, Flame Burst. Skill, Frozen Tempest. Skill, Cyclone Storm. Skill, Thunderstruck. Fire, Ice, Wind, Lightning. Skills of the 4 elements rained down on the Lionmen. There are both single target and AoE attacks. With their extremely high spirit attribute, the attack power of the skeletal mages' skills is even higher than that of the skeletal warriors. Under a round of concentrated fire, several Lionman warriors collapsed to the ground. At this time, Lin Moyu raised his palm. Skill, Corpse Explosion. Following a loud blast, the vicinity was cleared. Killed level 28 Desert Lionman Warrior, EXP plus 390,000. Obtained Lionman Leather X5. Within a range of 60 meters, no Lionman Warrior was able to survive. Express Sword like a rocket. Lionman warriors continued to pour out of the military camp, but they couldn't stop Lin Moyu's advance. No matter how many of them come, they are but lambs to the slaughter. Suddenly, a corpse was thrown into the air. Subsequently, it was detonated. The Legazer, which has been floating in the air, was killed on the spot and fell with a bang. Regarding corpse explosion, Lin Moyu finds it more comfortable the more he uses it. He has a feeling that the skill will level up after a few more uses. The skeletal warriors barged into the military camp without a care for the Lionman warriors inside and unleashed a massacre. In an instant, the monsters in the military camp were wiped out. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, arrows fell like rain from the sky. A large number of archers appeared on the castle's outwall. Desert Lionman Archer, Super Enhanced Elite Monster. Level 29, Strength 5,000, Agility 6,500, Spirit 1,500, Physique 4,500, Skill, True Shot. The skeletal warriors brandished their blades and blocked the arrows that were as densely packed as raindrops. The castle's outwall is 50 meters high. The skeletal warriors jumped up and then climbed up the outwall. But the arrows possess formidable attack power. Despite several attempts, the skeletal warriors were still repelled halfway. Standing below the outwall, the skeletal mages began to engage the archers. Different spells erupted and killed the archers one after another. However, there were more archers filling the gaps. The dead archer collapsed on the outwall. Since his sight was blocked, Lin Moyu was unable to lock on them and use corpse explosion. The best way to breach a castle is to break through from the gate. Some skeletal warriors have already rushed to the front of the gate and chopped with their large blades. The gate is very sturdy, holding firmly against the attacks. The rain of arrows coming from the outwall never stopped. Since it's not possible to go from above, then let's blow up the gate. Attack the gate with all your might. Chapter 92, Killing a World Rank Boss. 92 Killing a World Rank Boss. The skeletal warriors gathered in front of the gate and attacked it without stop. As if building a human pyramid, the skeletal warriors stood on the shoulders and heads of one another and attacked the gate with all their might. The skeletal mages divided into two groups. The lightning and fire type skeletal mages attacked the gate together with the skeletal warriors. The wind and ice type skeletal mages attacked the lionman archers on the outwall. Due to their respective AoE attack skill, they are most suited for the job. If other people were to see Lin Moyu attack the gate in this fashion, they would definitely laugh at him. After all, there are items specialized for attacking city gates, making things much easier. Of course, Lin Moyu's approach is not unfeasible. But it's an arduous undertaking. And there's still the rain of arrows. If it were ordinary class users instead, it would have resulted in heavy casualties. Only the skeletal warriors, with their super high physique, can brave the rain of arrows and attack the gate. Gradually, Lin Moyu felt that something wasn't right. This isn't right. I have expended so much effort. If it were other class users, let alone 40 people, even 100 people wouldn't be able to unleash as much destructive power as me. There must be another way to breach the outwall. I need to ask about it when I go back. The gate is much sturdier than a dungeon boss. After 10 minutes of continuous assault by the skeletal army, the gate finally gave in and was smashed. Behind the gate, there is a group of lionman warriors who have been ready for a long time. The skeletal warriors rushed into the castle like wolves. The skeletal mages also launched their attack. The lionman warriors collapsed to the ground amidst screams. Lin Moyu raised his palm. Boom! Following an explosion, the lionman warriors were wiped out. Subsequently, the skeletal warriors rushed up the outwall and attacked the lionman archers. In front of the skeletal warriors, the super-enhanced elite monsters stood no chance. In particular, after the skeletal mages also ran up the outwall, it became totally a one-sided massacre. When Lin Moyu stepped into the castle, all the lionman warriors and lionman archers were already eliminated. The skeletal army quickly advanced along the castle's main path. 13 hours have passed since Lin Moyu entered the dungeon. In the center of the castle, a huge lionman is sitting on a throne. He wears a crown on the head and exudes a powerful aura, looking like an invincible king. Even when he saw the large skeletal army, he remained completely unconcerned. When he looked at him, Lin Moyu could only feel a suffocating pressure wash over him. So this is a world rank boss. It is indeed completely different from the bosses I have seen so far. It is the first time Lin Moyu has seen a boss of this rank. Although he is feeling apprehensive, but he still has to fight. With a wave of Lin Moyu's hand, the skeletal warriors charged forward. At the same time, detection followed suit. Lionman Tyrant World Rank Boss. Level 31. Strength 13,000. Agility 8,000. Spirit 4,000. Physique 12,000. Skills Hellscream, Furious Leap, Windstorm. Although he has expected as much, but he couldn't help but feel apprehensive when we saw these attributes. Compared to the skeletal warriors, the strength attribute is 1,000 points higher, which stands for very high attack power. The agility attribute is quite high. The spirit attribute, however, is on the low side. But since he isn't a mage-type monster, it's quite normal. The physique attribute is 12,000, which puts him on par with the skeletal warriors. In addition, as a boss monster, his health is much higher than what the physique attribute would indicate. This has also been the case for the bosses Lin Moyu has encountered so far. It won't be easy to kill the tyrant. Nevertheless, Lin Moyu has to kill him as fast as possible. Sorry, but I'm in a hurry. When the skeletal warriors reached his side, the tyrant finally reacted. He suddenly stood up and stomped down with its big foot. Along with a loud bang, cracks appeared on the floor, and several nearby skeletons were flung away. The 13,000 points of strength manifested its effect, dealing the skeletons damage of varying degrees. The tyrant is at least 15 meters tall. In front of him, the skeletal warriors look like inconspicuous black dots. The skeletal warriors rushed over, leapt into the air, and jumped onto the tyrant. They grasped the tyrant's fur with one hand and hacked with the large blade in the other hand. The skeletal mages cast their skills, and colorful skill lights fell on the tyrant. Magic skills exploded on the tyrant. Violent explosions arose. Bolts of lightning fell one after another. Ice extended. Tornadoes hacked like blades. The tyrant bellowed again and again. A huge axe appeared in his hand. The axe swept horizontally, flinging away dozens of skeletal warriors. Buildings collapsed one after another. So strong. Lin Moyu watched the tyrant attentively, wondering how other parties deal with him. He's really strong. Faced against the tyrant, knights should only be able to withstand a couple of strikes. Light surged on Lin Moyu's palm. Following a flash of red light, a pattern formed from red chains appeared on the tyrant's head, and his speed dropped immediately. The 150% decrease in speed made the tyrant's movements slower. The pressure on the skeletal warriors decreased at once. Feeling the changes in his body, the tyrant suddenly raised his head and let out a roar. Skill. Hellscream. The roar turned into a shock wave that spread in all directions. A large tract of buildings collapsed amidst the roar. Lin Moyu has also been impacted. The bone armor collapsed after holding on for only 2 seconds. Lin Moyu reacted very quickly and promptly hid behind the skeletal mages, then covered himself in bone armor once more. Skeletal warriors were flung away by the roar, including the several skeletal warriors that were on the tyrant. At this moment, the tyrant suddenly leapt up high and lunged toward Lin Moyu. Skill. Furious leap. Lin Moyu's complexion changed slightly when he saw this. If he is hit, he won't die nor will he be injured. All the damage will be transferred to the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages. They will likely receive significant damage. The skeletal mages moved quickly and pushed Lin Moyu several tens of meters away. The tyrant landed on the ground with a loud blast, creating a huge pit, flinging the skeletal mages away. The skeletal mages took damage, but the damage wasn't too severe. Although their physique is not as high as that of the skeletal warriors, but it is still at 6,000 points. They won't be killed in an instant. After he dodged this strike, Lin Moyu's palm ignited with fire. A spark fell on the tyrant's head. Skill. Soul Blaze. The tyrant immediately let out shocking cries. The entire castle shook along with the screams. Even a world boss can't endure this attack that directly reaches the soul. Lin Moyu took the opportunity to retreat again, further opening the distance between himself and the tyrant. The skeletal warriors turned back and entangled with the tyrant again. If it were not for his skills, a few skeletal warriors, combined with slowing curse, would be enough to whittle away at the tyrant's health. However, the other party's skills are really strong. The skills he just displayed in particular have a knockback effect, putting the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages in a tough spot. Lin Moyu had the skeletal mages disperse and attack the tyrant from different directions. No matter what skills the tyrant uses, he won't be able to completely break away from the attacks of the skeletal mages. The tyrant wielded the huge axe, either slashing down or sweeping horizontally. Due to the influence of slowing curse, the speed of the tyrant has more than halved, greatly reducing the threat he poses to the skeletal warriors. The skills of the skeletal mages fell on the tyrant one after another like a barrage. The tyrant seems to have sensed that his situation is anything but encouraging. With a bellow, he swung his axe and spun sharply. A strong wind rose abruptly, and the skeletal warriors were flung away once again. How troublesome. All his skills come with a knockback effect. Lin Moyu was a bit out of sorts. But then again, if it were really easy to kill him, the tyrant wouldn't be worth being called a world rank boss. Regardless of how other parties go about it, Lin Moyu's gameplay is to sweep everything in his way. There isn't much ingenuity to this approach. After they were flung away, the skeletal warriors didn't attack right away. After all, the tyrant's skill isn't over yet. A number of tornadoes appeared around the tyrant. The tornadoes roared and destroyed the surrounding buildings. The tornadoes have effectively become the tyrant's shield, blocking the magic skills raining down on him. As the tyrant continued to spin, the tornadoes grew and became more menacing. Boom! The tornadoes swept outward in an instant. Wherever they passed, the earth seemed to have been plowed, the buildings completely destroyed. Several skeletal warriors, unable to dodge, were hit by the tornadoes. Their bones were torn, issuing unpleasant sounds, as if they would collapse at any moment. Soul fire pulsated in the tornadoes. Lin Moyu felt that the skeletons were severely injured and immediately withdrew them into the summon space. The tyrant's skill is unexpectedly this strong, to the point that even the skeletal warriors were severely injured. At this time, Lin Moyu thought of the Goblin King. It appears that bosses who drop accessory materials possess strong skills. Lin Moyu's palm was ablaze with flames all along, launching soul blaze at the tyrant time and time again. The tyrant didn't seem to feel it. But when his skill terminated, the damage accumulated earlier erupted. Shocking screams echoed throughout the entire dungeon. The skeletal warriors rushed back like indestructible cockroaches. Some jumped onto the tyrant's shoulders, others jumped onto his head, and yet others jumped onto his chest. Large blades fell frenziedly. The magic spells of the skeletal mages flooded in. Use your skill. Following Lin Moyu's command, the large swords of the skeletal warriors burst out with red light. Skill. Berserk Strike. This blow is very heavy. At the places where the blades fell, the tyrant's blood splattered, and his flesh became mangled. The screams tapered off. Soul Blaze fell on the tyrant again and again. The magic attacks of the skeletal mages also became increasingly more intense. The tyrant tried to fight back, but the effect was minimal. He unleashed his skills again. Thanks to the previous experience, Lin Moyu already knows how to evade them. He didn't give the opponent any chances. After 20 minutes of fighting, the tyrant finally collapsed in his castle. Killed Lionman Tyrant, EXP plus 2 million. Obtained Gold Rank Weapon, Tyrant's Battle Axe. Obtained Gold Rank Weapon, Tyrant's Dagger. Obtained Gold Rank Weapon, Tyrant's Stave. Obtained Tyrant's Heart, Tyrant's Battle Axe. Gold Rank Weapon, Strength plus 500, increases the power of Axe-type skills by 25%, usable above level 30. Tyrant's Dagger. Gold Rank Weapon, Agility plus 500, increases the power of Assassin-type skills by 25%, usable after level 30. Tyrant's Stave. Gold Rank Weapon, Spirit plus 500, increases the power of Mage-type skills by 25%, usable after level 30. Tyrant Heart. A special item essential for forging the Tyrant's Necklace. Chapter 93. Rude Awakening. 93 Rude Awakening. Phew. Lin Moyu breathed a long sigh of relief. It's finally over. This is the toughest boss he has faced so far. A world rank boss is really hard to deal with. At this moment, Lin Moyu neglected the level gap between him and the other party. He is only level 20. No. At this moment, white light appeared on Lin Moyu's body. After killing the tyrant and gaining Express, he reached level 21. He instinctively examined his attributes and couldn't help but show a shade of surprise. Strength, agility, and physique increased by 30 points, reaching 330 points. Spirit increased by 200 points, reaching 1,500 points. The growth rate has increased compared to before. Soul Blaze and Summon Skeletal Warrior were both upgraded by 1 level, becoming level 21. To his surprise, Summon Skeletal Mage has also reached level 21. Summon Skeletal Mage unexpectedly leveled up along with his level. Don't tell me, after maxing out a skill, it will automatically level up as my level rises. A thought suddenly popped up in his mind. Subsequently, he was shocked by the thought and even felt a chill go down his back. If that is the case, then I need to max out my skills as soon as possible. Otherwise, as my level rises, things will become only more difficult. It seems I will have to visit Tyrant Desert again and train my skills with the help of the desert fruits. As Lin Moyu was contemplating, a commotion has already exploded in Dungeon Hall. The bell rang repeatedly, for a total of 6 times. 3 bell rings represents a new record for an ordinary dungeon, while 6 bell rings represents a new record for a large-scale dungeon. At this time, the area outside Dungeon Hall was empty. Hundreds of people crowded in Dungeon Hall, with hundreds of pairs of eyes fixated on the light screen above Tyrant Desert. Furthermore, there was a constant stream of people teleporting into the area outside Dungeon Hall and rushing into Dungeon Hall. They were called by the people who were here to begin with. It's coming, it's coming. I didn't expect the party of Bailey Institute to really set a new record. It's really a miracle. They've only been inside for 14 hours. Hee, it may not be the party of Bailey Institute. That's right. Lin Moyu also entered the dungeon. Maybe he was the one who set the new record. Lin Moyu, haven't heard this name before. Who is it? What party does he belong to? A haughty voice sounded, and a group walked into Dungeon Hall. They are dressed in uniform clothing with the same logo. It's Bailey Sheng of Bailey Institute. The grandson of the dean of Bailey Institute, Bailey Sheng. With a haughty look in his eyes, Bailey Sheng strode in together with a group from Bailey Institute and said coldly, "Which institute is this Lin Moyu from? I haven't heard of him before. What party did he bring into the dungeon? His voice was permeated with arrogance. Someone said in a grave voice, Lin Moyu entered the dungeon by himself. By himself. Ha ha ha. Bai Li Sheng suddenly burst into wild laughter. To solo a large-scale dungeon. Are you kidding me? Bai Li Sheng's eyes glimmered fiercely, giving off the impression that he will resort to violence if there's a disagreement. The person was clearly startled, but he still said boldly, it is the truth. Lin Moyu did really enter the dungeon by himself. A lot of people here saw it. Indeed, Lin Moyu entered by himself and is yet to come out. That's right. Is Bai Li Institute the only one allowed to enter the dungeon? Bai Li Sheng frowned. Who is Lin Moyu? At this moment, someone beside him said in a quiet voice, I think I heard others say that he set 2 new records in Dungeon Hall in the past couple days. However, they are both low-level dungeons. They are Mutated Forest and Spider Nest. Moreover, some say he has some connection with God Bai. Bai Li Sheng looked at the 2 dungeons and saw the new records set by Lin Moyu. He was taken aback by the results, which were quite outrageous. He realized an issue, that is to say, he's only level 20. He's at most level 22, or else it wouldn't be possible to enter Spider Nest. Bai Li Sheng revealed a smile of disdain. A small fry that is at most level 22 entered a large-scale dungeon by himself, that's what you call a frog in the well. He's just a show-off who thinks he is invincible after luckily setting 2 new records. The monsters in a large-scale dungeon are no joke. Maybe he just hid in some corner of the dungeon. His words received recognition from the majority of the people. In particular, the people of Bai Li Institute showed disdainful smiles. Suddenly, a voice rang out, I think Lin Moyu can solo the dungeon. ... When he heard this, Bai Li Sheng looked over and saw Shu Han. She is a girl and is pretty good looking. Since she is a girl, he didn't snap at her and just snorted, what do you know? Shu Han said, I believe in Lin Moyu. Bai Li Sheng said coldly, who gives a damn about what you believe? Shu Han snorted and ignored him. At this moment, a golden radiance emerged from Tyrant Desert and illuminated the entire dungeon hall. The golden radiance fell on the light screen, displaying a sentence. The tyrant's heart dropped. For the tyrant's heart to drop again, an entire year has to go by. After a year has passed, this sentence will disappear, indicating that the tyrant's heart can drop once again. Murmur. A commotion erupted. The tyrant's heart dropped. What luck. It's not luck, but speed. The tyrant must have been killed within an hour. Otherwise, it should be impossible for the tyrant's heart to drop. Bai Li Sheng laughed heartily, good job. Well done. Now that our Bai Li Institute has stepped in, we not only set a new record, but also obtained the tyrant's heart. From now on, Bai Li Institute will possess a boss accessory. The people of Bai Li Institute revealed elated expressions. To not only break the record, but to also obtain the tyrant's heart, this is a great honor. The faces of the students of Bai Li Institute lit up. As for Lin Moyu, Bai Li Sheng has already forgotten about him. The light screen was refreshed again. The party that previously ranked first moved down to second place. A new record officially emerged. Lin Moyu, level 21, 14 hours, 11 minutes, and 43 seconds. When Lin Moyu's name appeared, everyone was stupefied. Bai Li Sheng's smile froze on his face. His arrogance shattered at once. In one moment, he has fallen from heaven to hell. He felt like everyone around was laughing at him. Shame, embarrassment, humiliation, and various other negative emotions welled up in his heart. Who the hell is this Lin Moyu? Bai Li Sheng clenched his fists, blaming Lin Moyu for this. Suddenly, light flashed in front of the dungeon, and a person emerged. Lin Moyu came out of the dungeon. He felt very uncomfortable when he saw the people around him. In particular, he felt as if there were a pair of eyes looking at him full of anger. The anger appears to contain a pinch of frustration. So you are Lin Moyu? Lin Moyu doesn't know this person. He felt strange. Did I provoke him before? But that's not important. He just came out of the dungeon, and his first priority is to report the completion of the mission. Of course, it is the mission issued by God Bai. Lin Moyu promptly activated the teleportation stone and left Dungeon Hall. Being surrounded by so many people, it would be strange not to leave. He is no circus monkey. Seeing Lin Moyu basically ignore him, Bai Li Sheng was infuriated, and his face turned red. He said angrily, let's go. With that, he activated a teleportation stone and left. The people who came with him also used teleportation stones and left one after another. They were too embarrassed to continue to stay here. In fact, they felt that the way others were looking at them wasn't quite right. In all likelihood, they won't return to Dungeon Hall so soon. They finally left. The guys of Bailey Institute suffered quite the loss of face this time. This time tomorrow, this incident will spread throughout the entire academy. Bailey Institute will surely become quite famous. It's their own fault for being so arrogant. They got there just desert. Boss Lin gave them a rude awakening. Have you noticed? After coming out of the dungeon, Boss Lin was level 21. This indicates that he was only level 20 when he entered the dungeon. To solo a large-scale dungeon while level 20, is this something that a human can achieve? Is the class Necromancer really that powerful? No matter how powerful it is, it's impossible to be this powerful. He must have awakened a talent. And it is not some run-of-the-mill talent. Shu Han felt quite good when she heard these words. It appears that Lin Moyu's success made her happier than her own. I knew you would be fine. Shu Han chuckled and left Dungeon Hall contentedly. After Lin Moyu returned, he immediately contacted Bai Yiyuan. What's the matter? Can't find a party? Bai Yiyuan's lazy voice rose from the communicator. Lin Moyu said in a low voice, I have the tyrant's heart. Oh, you have it. What? In the next moment, Bai Yiyuan suddenly let out a strange cry. Can you say it again? Lin Moyu could only repeat, I have the tyrant's heart. That's so fast. It hasn't been long since he accepted the mission. Bai Yiyuan asked, where are you? Lin Moyu said, I'm at the dormitory. Go to the dormitory's entrance. Okay. Chapter 94. Dimensional Battlefield, a place where contribution points can be earned. 94 Dimensional Battlefield, a place where contribution points can be earned. Lin Moyu just finished the conversation with Bai Yiyuan when the communicator vibrated. Set a new record for Tyrant Desert, earned 5,000 points and 30 contribution points. Can only be earned once. When he saw this, Lin Moyu smiled slightly. The reward for clearing a large-scale dungeon is indeed much higher. Unfortunately, it can only be earned once. At the dormitory's entrance, Lin Moyu met Bai Yiyuan. Before he could say anything, Bai Yiyuan grabbed him, and the two disappeared instantly. Bai Yiyuan used a teleportation stone to teleport away together with Lin Moyu. In the next moment, Lin Moyu found himself outside a small courtyard house. The courtyard house is located on a mountain and is surrounded by a bamboo forest, with wind blowing comfortably. This is quite the beautiful and serene place. At this time, it is already night, and moonlight sprinkling down and stars covering the sky. There is also bamboo growing in the courtyard house, with small lamps hanging from them, providing weak lighting. This further highlights the extraordinary artistic sense of the owner of the courtyard house. Lin Moyu was stunned by what he saw. He really likes this house. Bai Yiyuan was satisfied with Lin Moyu's expression, this is my house. It's pretty nice, isn't it? It is. Lin Moyu nodded in acknowledgement. In the current times, where monsters run rampant and dire beasts prowl the land, virtually no one lives in the wilderness. Everyone lives in the city, guarded by the city wall and the military. The wilderness is too dangerous. Probably only people like Bai Yiyuan can live in the wilderness. Let's go in. Bai Yiyuan chuckled and strode in with Lin Moyu. They crossed the front yard and, without entering the house, went straight to the backyard. In the backyard, there is a faint tea fragrance fluttering in the air. There is a middle-aged man sitting in the backyard. The middle-aged man has a gentle and elegant appearance and is wearing a robe, looking like an erudite and wealthy scholar. When Lin Moyu saw him, a sense of awe welled up inside of him. He gave a respectful salute, greetings, Mr. Meng. Much like God Bai, everyone in Shengxia Empire knows Meng Anwen. Meng Anwen is a godly formation master, he is one of the strongest class users in the empire, and is respectfully referred to as Mr. Meng. He has made outstanding contributions to Shengxia Empire. And much like God Bai, his deeds have been recorded in textbooks. Lin Moyu has seen pictures of Meng Anwen in books and read about his deeds. He naturally has great respect toward Meng Anwen. Meng Anwen smiled and nodded, come and take a sit. Have a cup of tea. Bai Yiyuan smiled and said, don't be so cautious. Old Meng is easy to get along with. Take out the tyrant's heart. Lin Moyu complied and took out the tyrant's heart. It looks like a heart and feels a bit soft to the touch, as if it were a living thing. Meng Anwen took a look, it is indeed the tyrant's heart. Bai Yiyuan looked at Lin Moyu, did you really go by yourself? Lin Moyu nodded and said, I did. Bai Yiyuan showed a strange expression, how did you do it? This. Lin Moyu hesitated for a moment, not knowing how to answer. I just did it. Bai Yiyuan realized he asked a foolish question. What was your result? Meng Anwen said. Lin Moyu replied honestly, 14 hours. A look of astonishment appeared on Bai Yiyuan's face. That's really fast. In other words, Lin Moyu possesses greater combat power than a party of 40. Besides, when Lin Moyu entered the dungeon, he was only level 20. He's already this strong while level 20. Then in the future, he'll surely be even stronger. If he can achieve the third awakening. Bai Yiyuan mused excitedly. Meng Anwen, on the other hand, was much calmer, not showing much of a reaction. It's a pretty good result. Old Bai, you have a promise to keep. That's natural. Bai Yiyuan took out a charm. It's an elementary cooldown charm, and it looks exactly the same as the ones Lin Moyu has seen before. Bai Yiyuan said, this cooldown charm belongs to you now. In the future, if you want to upgrade it to an intermediate cooldown charm or even an advanced cooldown charm, you will have to rely on yourself. I can also tell you the upgrade method. Aware that there is no such thing as a free lunch, Lin Moyu said promptly, God Bai, what are your instructions? Seeing Lin Moyu be so tactful, Bai Yiyuan was very satisfied. This matter isn't urgent. Let me ask you, do you want to enter Chuangshan Institute? This question was superfluous. After all, he already knows the answer. Lin Moyu said in a low voice, I do. Bai Yiyuan chuckled, I know your leveling speed is fast, so level won't be a problem. What you lack is contribution points. Lin Moyu nodded, indeed. Lin Moyu's answer was within Bai Yiyuan's expectation. Bai Yiyuan's eyes flickered with a crafty gleam, do you think you can earn 1,000 contribution points? Lin Moyu shook his head, unsure. At the moment, he has 90 contribution points, which is a far cry from the 1,000 contribution points required by Chuangshan Institute. It's not even 1/10 of the amount. He plans to raid all the dungeon in Dungeon Hall that he can enter and set a record. As for how much contribution points he will be able to obtain, he isn't certain. If a dungeon can provide 5 to 10 contribution points, then even if he sets a new record for all dungeons in Dungeon Hall below level 30, it still won't be enough. Bai Yiyuan continued, have you heard of Dimensional Battlefield? Dimensional Battlefield? Lin Moyu shook his head, indicating that he hadn't heard of it before. Bai Yiyuan took a sip of tea, looking serene. At Dimensional Battlefield, there is much good stuff that can be exchanged for contribution points. The Academy established a base at Dimensional Battlefield, where you can receive missions. By completing said missions, you can earn contribution points. In summary, if you want to quickly earn contribution points, you need to go to Dimensional Battlefield. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up, evidently interested in Dimensional Battlefield. Taking note of Lin Moyu's expression, Bai Yiyuan learned that this piqued his interest, but Dimensional Battlefield is not a place that anyone can go to. Not unlike Dungeon Hall, you need to obtain qualification. Lin Moyu looked at Bai Yiyuan and said, how do I get it? Bai Yiyuan chuckled, I can give you the qualification. What's the condition? Lin Moyu asked bluntly. He has dealt with Bai Yiyuan several times already and is familiar with his character. There is no free lunch, no manna from heaven. Bai Yiyuan chuckled and said, at Dimensional Battlefield, there is a lot of good stuff. There are many dungeons and occasional natural secret realms. The dungeons at Dimensional Battlefield have a very lax level restriction. They have a range of 10 levels, not unlike Tyrant Desert you just visited. Go to Dimensional Battlefield and bring back some materials from a certain dungeon. I already sent you a list of materials I want. Bai Yiyuan, who seems to not have considered the possibility of Lin Moyu rejecting his proposition, smiled like an old fox. The communicator vibrated and Lin Moyu received the list. Dragonkind Heart X10, Dragonkind Blood Essence X10, Dragonkind Horn X10, Dragonkind Core X5, the materials on the list are all related to Dragonkind. Needless to say, the dungeon must also be related to Dragonkind. Lin Moyu looked at Bai Yiyuan with a dumbfounded expression. Dragons are extremely powerful creatures. He's only level 21, yet Bai Yiyuan wants him to slaughter dragons. That's akin to sending him on a suicide mission. Bai Yiyuan said, don't worry, they're not real dragons, but just a kind of beastman called Dragonkind, essentially no different from Tyrant Desert's lionman. So that's why. Lin Moyu understood. He didn't doubt Bai Yiyuan's words. After all, with his identity, there's no way Bai Yiyuan would deceive him. Lin Moyu asked, is the cooldown charm effective there? Bai Yiyuan assumed a matter-of-fact expression, of course. What do I do when the cooldown charm's energy runs out? Since his elementary cooldown charm is fully charged, it can be used 10 times. After its energy is used up, it needs to be recharged. Bai Yiyuan said, there are many methods. You can go to the Academy's alchemy hall, find an alchemist, and pay the required points. After listening to Bai Yiyuan enumerate a number of methods, Lin Moyu realized that the simplest way is to return to the academy, go to Alchemist Hall, find an alchemist, and spend the corresponding points. He can also find an alchemist outside, which will entail spending gold coins, and the other party has to be willing. Recharging requires a large amount of materials and points, or alternatively gold coins. At the same time, there are some special materials that can be used to directly recharge a cooldown charm. However, these materials are very rare and hard to find. In summation, it is the most convenient to return to the academy for recharging. Do you have any further questions? Lin Moyu thought for a moment. God Bai, do you know about desert fruits? Bai Yiyuan showed a look of surprise. Have you obtained desert fruits in Tyrant Desert? I have. Bai Yiyuan laughed heartily. Your luck is pretty good. After all, desert fruits are extremely hard to come by. They are great for training skills. Have you used them? Lin Moyu said in a low voice, I have. However, there were too few fruits. Since even Bai Yiyuan speaks so highly of them, the desert fruits must be indeed great. Bai Yiyuan patted Lin Moyu on the shoulder. They can only be encountered by a fluke. Even if you raid the dungeon 10 times, you may not be able to encounter desert fruits a single time. Although Skill Training Center can't compare to desert fruits, but it is still quite decent. After the opening ceremony, I will send you to Dimensional Battlefield. Lin Moyu asked another question. If I max out my skills, will their level increase along with my level? Bai Yiyuan was stunned. There's no such thing. Skills need to be trained. As if he has understood something, Lin Moyu didn't continue on this topic and instead asked some other question. Bai Yiyuan answered all his questions. He has a comprehensive wealth of knowledge. For him, Lin Moyu's questions are just common sense. After Lin Moyu left, Bai Yiyuan fiddled with the tyrant's heart. Tisk tisk, the tyrant's necklace is a pretty nice piece of equipment. The tyrant's heart looks like a heart, but it is in essence a core that can be used to make boss accessory tyrant's necklace. Meng Anwen said, is it really okay for him to go to Dimensional Battlefield so soon? Bai Yiyuan chuckled, as you have seen, this kid has the ability to solo large-scale dungeons. This shows that he's no weaker than some class users who have just undergone their second awakening. So the sooner he goes to Dimensional Battlefield and gains experience, the better. Meng Anwen said in a deep voice, it seems that you really want to raise him. Bai Yiyuan tilted his head and looked over, can't I? If the old man can raise his sister, then I can raise him. Let's see who can raise the stronger individual. Meng Anwen didn't know whether to be amused or annoyed. At times, the majestic God Bai is no different from a child. Why didn't you tell him that humanity's enemy is at Dimensional Battlefield, that it isn't safe there? There's nothing to say, he'll naturally know when he gets there. Chapter 95, he went in again. After returning to the dormitory, Lin Moyu summoned 5 skeletal warriors and then went to bed. He fought in the dungeon for more than 14 hours, under an unrelenting sun to boot. Being both physically and mentally exhausted, he isn't even in the mood to meditate. Today he traded the tyrant's heart for an elementary cooldown charm. At the same time, he learned about Dimensional Battlefield from Bai Yiyuan and understood how to earn contribution points. Lin Moyu already knows what to do next. In the blink of an eye, he was already asleep, his breathing even. A slight smile welled up on his lips, inspired by a beautiful dream. At this time, it is still lively in Dungeon Hall, with many people coming and going. In fact, it is as bustling as during daytime. After all, some people like to be active at night. Along with flashes of light, one person after another appeared in Dungeon Hall. A total of 40 people emerged from a dungeon. I'm back. The leading knight unleashed a shout of excitement. Not only him, but also everyone else in the party was excited. Oh, the people of Bailey Institute are out. It seems like they succeeded. So what if they succeed? In any case, they've been embarrassed enough today already. Look at how excited they are. Did they really think they set a new record? The knight, Cheng Chuyong, the captain of this party of Bailey Institute, is filled with pride. He swept the crowd with his gaze. We cleared Tyrant Desert in 15 hours and 58 minutes and set a new record. Long live Bailey Institute! The people who were together with him shouted loudly. Suddenly, someone pointed at the light screen and said, "Captain, something isn't quite right." Something isn't right. What isn't right? From the moment they entered the dungeon, they recorded the time. There is no room for error. Cheng Chuyong turned his head and looked at the light screen. The first thing he saw was the information that the tyrant's heart had dropped. Something is wrong indeed. We didn't get the tyrant's heart. Then who got it? Just as the question arose, Cheng Chuyong looked at the ranking. Their party is listed on the ranking quite prominently. Unfortunately, they aren't in the first place, but in the second place. Ranked first. Lin Moyu, level 21, 14 hours, 11 minutes, and 43 seconds. Cheng Chuyong trembled. One person, level 21. 14 hours. He recalled the person who stepped into the dungeon before them. A chill surged up to his brain. This is impossible. Cheng Chuyong let out a strange cry. He couldn't believe it. Their party has made ample preparations, their class composition and equipment optimal and command unified. After enduring numerous hardships, they finally killed the boss, pushing the time to just under 16 hours. Although they didn't get the tyrant's heart, but they did break the previous record after all. This is a very remarkable achievement. But their efforts were all in vain, overshadowed by one person. This is impossible. How can this be? As if a madman, Cheng Chuyong couldn't accept reality. But facts are facts. The onlookers in Dungeon Hall looked at them with beaming smiles. The people of Bailey Institute felt like they have been cruelly trampled on by the person called Lin Moyu, and their faces flushed. They felt really embarrassed. Some even lowered their heads in shame. "Captain, let's go. Let's go back first. Let's continue at the institute." Cheng Chuyong finally calmed down and glanced at the light screen above the dungeon with a shade of reluctance. "Let's go." The people of Bailey Institute promptly used teleportation stones and left Dungeon Hall. Laughter suddenly erupted in Dungeon Hall. Bailey Institute surprisingly got slapped in the face twice in one day. Lin Moyu didn't say anything, he just got the job done. That was so funny. You guys didn't see Bailey Sheng's expression today, it was hilarious. They received quite the slap today. They were thoroughly humiliated. The onlookers wagged their tongues. In any this will spread throughout the entire academy tomorrow, turning Bailey Institute into a laughingstock. Everyone in the academy knows how arrogant Bailey Institute's Bailey Sheng is. By relying on his grandfather, who is the dean of Bailey Institute, he looks down on ordinary students. He walked in such a self-important manner, yet ended up dejected when he left. Many people viewed him as a joke. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu slept comfortably. When he woke up, it was already 10 o'clock the next morning. His stomach growled. After he woke up, Lin Moyu felt refreshed, yesterday's mental and physical fatigue completely gone. Except for spirit force, which hasn't been fully restored yet, he was in peak condition. He stretched his body, then washed up and had breakfast. Seeing the large amount of food in his storage space, he naturally thought of Ning Yi, wondering where this mischievous girl has gone to. After he was done eating, Lin Moyu activated the teleportation stone and arrived at Dungeon Hall. Although Bai Yiyuan claimed that desert fruits can only be encountered by a fluke, but he still wants to try his luck. If he can come across desert fruits, Lin Moyu is confident that he can quickly max out slowing curse and bone armor. Bai Yiyuan stated that except for innate skills, all other skills require training, unable to level up as your level rises. Yet his skill Summon Skeletal Mage, after being maxed out, leveled up along with his level. At this point, Lin Moyu can't ascertain whether the skill Summon Skeletal Mage is special or whether his class is special. Therefore, he can only test it again. "So you are Lin Moyu?" A voice interrupted his train of thought. Lin Moyu looked up and found a person standing at the entrance of Dungeon Hall, looking at him. Lin Moyu doesn't know him. He made a sound of assent and then asked, "What do you want?" The man said, "Senior Bailey Sheng wants to meet you. Come with me." His voice contained an inexplicable arrogance. In particular, after seeing Lin Moyu's attire, he determined that Lin Moyu should not be a member of an institute, but an ordinary student. His expression became even more arrogant. Lin Moyu glanced at the man, thinking that there's something wrong with his head. He passed the other party and entered Dungeon Hall. At the same time, his placid voice rose, "Tell him to come to me if he wants to meet me." The man's eyes turned round, watching Lin Moyu ignore him. "What nerve! Do you know who Bailey Sheng is?" he shouted angrily. "I don't." Lin Moyu had already walked up to Tyrant Desert. He wanted to enter the dungeon, but then found that the dungeon's cooldown period is 240 hours, a full 10 days. He naturally can't just wait that long. Let alone 10 days, he won't even wait 10 hours. He directly spent 2,000 points to dispel the cooldown period and then spent 500 points to enter the dungeon. He still has 125,000 points, which is quite the wealth. The man's complexion alternated between ashen and flushed, and he gritted his teeth in anger. Lin Moyu really didn't give him any face. A number of people saw Lin Moyu enter the dungeon, revealing looks of astonishment. Oh my god, Lin Moyu entered Tyrant Desert again. Is he going to set a new record again? It's very likely. After all, he did set 2 consecutive records for both Mutated Forest and Spider Nest. The first time still can be understood, but the second time is simply rubbing salt in the wound. The first time he wasn't familiar with the dungeon. Now that he has been to the dungeon before, his result will naturally be improved. Many people discussed among themselves, their eyes filled with curiosity. They wanted to see whether Lin Moyu can set a new record again. Large-scale dungeons are different from ordinary dungeons, often requiring upwards of 10 hours to be cleared. They just have to wait for the bell to ring. For some reason, they are confident that Lin Moyu will set a new record. After seeing Lin Moyu enter the dungeon, the man teleported away. He returned to Bailey Institute and went to see Bailey Shang. Lin Moyu refuses to come. He said that if you want to see him, you have to go to him yourself. Bailey Shang creased his eyebrows. This guy is rather conceited. Right, he's so rude. Bailey Shang snorted coldly. Does he think he's hot shit because he's able to solo Tyrant Desert? It's just a low-level dungeon, that's all. He mustn't understand the changes that come with the Second Awakening. Even if it's a powerful class, it may become weak after the Second Awakening. By calling him over, I gave him face, I gave him a chance. Since that's the case, then let's pay him no mind. If I run into him outside, I'll teach him a lesson. Bailey Shang's arrogance is well known throughout the entire academy. The incident that left Bailey Institute embarrassed yesterday has spread throughout the entire academy this morning. As such, Bailey Shang is too ashamed to go out, nursing strong resentment toward Lin Moyu in his heart. In the current situation, the best way for Bailey Shang to save face would be to take Lin Moyu under his wing. But Lin Moyu didn't give him the chance. In the academy, Bailey Shang can't really take action against Lin Moyu. Otherwise, even though his grandfather is the dean of Bailey Institute, he won't be able to protect him. But if it's in the wilderness, Tyrant Desert is the same as before. Yellow sand below and scorching sun above. I hope the map remains the same. 135 skeletal warriors and 70 skeletal mages appeared and headed in one direction. The desert woodwraiths along the way were killed practically in an instant. The skeletal warriors weren't sparing with their skill. The skeletal mages also launched their skills and attacked from afar. After instantly killing one monster after another, after merely over an hour, an oasis appeared within sight. Lin Moyu raised the corners of his mouth into a smile. The map hasn't changed. Chapter 96. Desert fruits can only be encountered by a fluke. The skeletal warriors rushed toward the oasis. Without any surprise, a large group of desert scorpions met them. The skeletal warriors didn't attack, but instead drew the desert scorpions along the oasis waterway. The desert scorpions relentlessly pursued the skeletal warriors. The skeletal warriors adjusted their running speed, so that the desert scorpion could keep up with them. As time passed, the group grew larger. The desert scorpions along the way joined the pursuit. Lin Moyu followed behind the group, maintaining a distance of about 1,000 meters. After running for half an hour, young ants appeared at last. Lin Moyu quickly accelerated his speed, while the skeletal warriors stopped and engaged in battle with the desert scorpions. Faced with the skeletal warriors, the desert scorpions died one after another. Thanks to the huge disparity in attributes, it was basically a unilateral massacre. By the time Lin Moyu arrived, 1/3 of the desert scorpions had been killed already. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions sounded abruptly. Yellow sand rose into the air. Skill. Corpse explosion. Lin Moyu used his skill without stop, without sparing spirit force. Even though all the desert scorpions have already died, but he still continued to cast his skill. He is grinding his skill. Last time he was in the dungeon, Lin Moyu felt that corpse explosion was about to level up. After using the skill 30 to 40 times and consuming 1/3 of his spirit force, the skill finally leveled up. Corpse explosion. Level 3. Detonate a corpse and deal 20% of the corpse's health as damage to enemies within a radius of 3 meters. The skill's range and damage increased. After his talent's amplification, the range reached 100 meters and the damage reached 600% of the corpse's health. His attack power has been greatly upgraded. Before arriving at the ant colony, Lin Moyu once again saw the patches of cacti. Unfortunately, the cacti didn't bear any fruits this time. Just as Bai Yiyuan said, the fruits can only be encountered by a fluke. A slight disappointment welled up inside Lin Moyu's heart, then was erased in the next moment. Now let's do level grinding. Can't waste the points. The skeletal army rushed into the ant colony. Thanks to the previous experience, he didn't have to explore the terrain this time. The group made a beeline toward the place where the queen ant is located. Gradually, a swarm following behind them formed, composed of young ants, worker ants, soldier ants, and flying ants. There were hundreds of ants. Lin Moyu conjured bone armor and kept far away to the rear. When the group arrived in front of the nest of the queen ant, the ants stopped outside, not daring to enter. Many dungeons seem to have the same feature, where small fry monsters not dare to enter the territory of the boss. Lin Moyu didn't find this strange. Skeletal warriors stopped at an intersection and engaged the ants. When Lin Moyu arrived, he ended the battle with corpse explosion. He looked at the flood of notifications and smiled in his heart, another wave of express. Since he entered the dungeon, his express soared twice, one being when he killed the desert scorpions and the other being now. These two waves increased his express by 15%. This is just the appetizer. The main big dish hasn't been served yet. Lin Moyu drank a bottle of elementary spirit potion, restoring 100 points of spirit force. Although 100 points of spirit force isn't much, but it is still enough for him to use corpse explosion 10 times or conjure bone armor several times. After wiping out the small fry monsters, the group rushed into the queen ant's room and charged toward the 4 personal guards of the queen ant. Concentrated fire. Under a round of concentrated fire, a queen ant's personal guard was instantly killed. At this point, the other 3 queen ant's personal guards assumed a defensive state. They unleashed their skill, and a luster appeared on their shell, pushing their defense to the limit. Skeletal warriors rained down attacks on them. At the same time, a massive number of attacks, wind, fire, lightning, and ice, fell on the queen ant's personal guards, rapidly whittling away at their defensive skill. The queen ant flapped her wings and screeched, launching the skill Sonic Wave attack. Lin Moyu has experienced the queen ant's Sonic Wave attack before. Although it has a large area of effect, but its power isn't very high. Lin Moyu's bone armor flickered repeatedly as it resisted the attack. This is even more true for the skeletal warriors. It's not that it had no effect, but that it had no impact. The skeletal warriors persisted with their offensive. In just 10 seconds, the luster of the 3 queen ants' personal guard dimmed by a lot. The queen ant flapped her wings. Skill: Windstorm Strike. In an instant, a windstorm struck and blew the skeletal warriors away. After landing on the ground, the skeletal warriors got up at once and lunged at the enemy. Skeletal mages stood in front of Lin Moyu and acted as meat shields. Seeing that the luster of the queen ant's personal guards was about to disappear, Lin Moyu issued an order in his heart. The skeletal warriors unleashed their skill one after another. Skill: Berserk Strike. Almost in an instant, the defense of the 3 queen ants' personal guards collapsed, and they were pushed to the brink of death. Skeletal mages gave the coup de grace CE, and a large amount of radiances dropped. At the same time, Lin Moyu lifted his palm. Skill: Corpse Explosion. Boom, 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 boom. 4 explosions swept through the cavern. Along with miserable shrieks, the queen ant was heavily injured. She unleashed the skill huddle and curled up. In the curled up state, the queen ant's wounds healed quickly. At the same time, its screeches echoed through the entire ant colony. Lin Moyu curved his lips into a smile. He was waiting for this moment. Unlike last time, he hasn't cleared the monsters in the ant colony this time. The number of ants inside the colony is astonishing. He just has to wait for the ants to deliver themselves to his door. A number of skeletal warriors ran back and stood in front of him. A dozen plus seconds later, crawling sounds rose in the cavern, accompanied by ant screeches. Swarms of ants rushed over from different directions. Soon, black ants appeared in sight. The ground was crawling with ants, while the air was claimed by flying ants. After waiting for 2 more seconds, the ants were less than 20 meters away. Get started. Following Lin Moyu's order, the skeletal warriors responded. The skeletal mages were even faster. Dozens of skills were launched simultaneously. In a flash, the cavern was filled with colorful lights. The ant swarm unleashed screeches, some ants already dead. Lin Moyu instantly locked on the dead monsters. Skill, corpse explosion. Explosions rose one after another, in a rhythmic fashion, and resounded through the cavern. The entire cavern jolted and trembled. Lin Moyu didn't act in the heat of the moment, but waited for more ants to come before unleashing each explosion. Gradually, a large number of ant corpses began to accumulate in the cavern, forming a small mountain. The ants who came in later knocked over the small mountain and charged toward Lin Moyu while stepping on the corpses of their kin. Under the effect of the Queen Ant's summon, the ants lost all fear. Massive amounts of express surged. In the blink of an eye, his express reached 50%. This speed is simply astounding. After reaching level 21, the leveling speed slowed down once again. Although it's not as big a jump like the jump every 5 levels, but it's still at least 10% slower. Lin Moyu estimates that, after clearing Tyrant Desert this time, it will be already pretty good as his express can exceed 85%. Things will only become slower later. It's a bit slow. Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh. If other people were to hear this, they would feel like vomiting blood. When others go from level 20 to level 30, it takes them 1 to 3 years. But with his speed, Lin Moyu will take 1 to 2 months to reach level 30. Yet this is still slow. If you compare your lot to others, you will only torture yourself. After 10 minutes, there were no more monsters rushing over. All the monsters in the ant colony have died. The queen ant's screeches also stopped. The curled up state was lifted, and the queen ant was fully healed. However, it's just waiting to be overwhelmed by the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages. 135 skeletal warriors wielded their large blades, unleashed their skill, and attacked the queen ant from different directions. The queen ant, who had just been healed, was pushed to the brink of death in an instant. The magic skills of the skeletal mages flooded in and gave it the coup de grace sensei. The queen ant was killed almost in an instant. Lin Moyu didn't even have to use Soul Blaze. Killed Desert Queen Ant, EXP plus 800,000. Obtained Silver Rank Weapon, Queen Ant's Sword. Obtained Elementary Monster Core, Queen Ant's Sword. Silver Rank Weapon, Strength plus 80, Physique plus 80, increases the power of sword skills by 13%, usable after level 20. Queen Ant's Ring, Silver Rank Accessory, Spirit plus 50, Physique plus 50, increases the restoration of Spirit Force by 10%, usable after level 20. This time's harvest wasn't as great as last time. He didn't get a Desert Queen Ant's egg. Stepping over the corpse of the Queen Ant, Lin Moyu walked out of the ant colony and entered the territory of the Lionmen, overlooking the towering castle and the sturdy gate. Lin Moyu has learned that in order to quickly breach the gate, you need siege equipment. Siege equipment isn't sold at the trade office. In order to obtain it, you need to collect materials and find a blacksmith to make it for you. But Lin Moyu is too busy for that. He still used the simple and crude method, that is, the skeletons breaking through the gate. At most, it entails wasting a few more minutes. At this time, it has only been 5 hours since he entered the dungeon, which is more than twice as fast as last time. He can afford to waste this much time. World rank boss, I'm here again. Lin Moyu waved his hand, and the skeletal army rushed forward. Chapter 97. One carrying 39. After massacring the Lionman warriors and smashing the castle's gate, the skeletal warriors charged into the castle and slaughtered the Lionman monsters inside. The group advanced to the desert tyrant's throne. The tyrant looked at the unremarkable dots, a shade of ridicule and derision in his eyes. Lin Moyu has never seen this kind of gaze in other dungeons. It's as he is self-aware. A new record is about to arise. A thought popped up in Lin Moyu's mind. His initial aim was desert fruits. But since there were no desert fruits, his aim became to clear the dungeon as quickly as possible. Lin Moyu issued the command to eliminate the tyrant. At the same time, he cast Slowing Curse on the tyrant. Then he retreated far away and watched the battle from the roof of a building. The skeletal warriors are level 21, and their 4 attributes have reached 13,500 points. As for the skeletal mages, their spirit attribute has reached 27,000 points. Compared to the previous level, there has been a significant improvement. Their combat power has increased, and their attributes have exceeded those of the tyrant. Apart from skills, the tyrant is at a complete disadvantage in all other aspects. Not to mention that it is 205 against 1. No matter how the tyrant struggles, the outcome is already preordained. After just a dozen plus minutes, the tyrant reluctantly collapsed in front of Lin Moyu once again. Killed Lionman Tyrant, EXP plus 2 million. Obtained gold rank weapon, Tyrant's Stave. Obtained gold rank weapon, Tyrant's Bow. Obtained gold rank protective equipment, Tyrant's Robe. Obtained gold rank protective equipment, Tyrant's Armor. Obtained world boss core, Tyrant's Stave. Gold rank weapon, Spirit plus 300, Physique plus 200, increases the power of magic skills by 25%, usable after level 30. Tyrant's Bow. Gold rank weapon, Agility plus 400, Physique plus 100, increases the power of bow skills by 25%, usable after level 30. Tyrant's Robe. Gold rank protective equipment, Spirit plus 100, Physique plus 200, increases physique by 10%, usable after level 30. Tyrant's Armor. Gold rank protective equipment, Agility plus 100, Physique plus 200, increased physique by 10%, usable after level 30. World Boss Core, can be used to make different items. Lin Moyu checked his express, 84%. It is not far off from his estimation. The leveling speed is almost 10% slower. He didn't clear all the monsters in the desert, and so his express has only reached 84%. Otherwise, he could have gained more express. He left the dungeon through the exit. As soon as he emerged from the dungeon, he was surrounded by people. Moments ago, the bell rang 6 times in a row, and so people rushed into Dungeon Hall once more. When they saw the new record above Tyrant Desert, the onlookers drew in a sharp breath. Lin Moyu, level 21, 6 hours, 11 minutes, and 33 seconds. This speed, it's too scary. It's really a record that won't be beaten even 100 years later. Boss Lin, can you carry me through the dungeon? Boss Lin, please carry me. Boss Lin, carry me through Tyrant Desert. Just one time, I want to complete the academical mission. Boss Lin, people surrounded Lin Moyu, asking to ride his coattails. These people are basically all ordinary students. It is difficult for them to form a party themselves or find a party to raid Tyrant Desert. If they form a party themselves, the level of their equipment and skills will not be optimal, and there won't be a unified command. Under these circumstances, there is a 90% of failure. But now they see hope. Faced with so many requests, Lin Moyu felt a bit strange. What mission? Lin Moyu's words puzzled the crowd. It's the Academy's mission. After enrollment, the Academy will assign a series of missions. Only after completing these missions can you be eligible to join an independent institute. And one of the missions is to clear Tyrant Desert. If you don't complete this mission, you can use contribution points to make up for it. 50 contribution points can make up for failing to clear Tyrant Desert. However, it's very difficult to obtain contribution points. We have been stuck at this mission for a long time. The guys that have entered institutes refuse to carry us. We have tried to form parties ourselves and raid the dungeon, yet the success rate is very low, succeeding only once in a while. We don't want express, equipment, nor materials. We don't want anything, we just want to complete the mission. The crowd explained the reason clearly. Lin Moyu listened silently. At this moment, someone suddenly asked, Lin Moyu, how come you don't know about dungeon missions? Yes, this is academical missions, so every student must complete them. Lin Moyu said, I'm a new student. I just arrived at the academy 2 days ago, and the opening ceremony will be held the day after tomorrow. Everyone was stunned. He's actually a new student who has yet to attend the opening ceremony. No wonder he had no knowledge regarding academical missions. He just recently arrived, no wonder he doesn't quite understand anything and needs others to explain things to him. In any case, a new student who just arrived smashed the dungeon mission repeatedly and performed an unprecedented feat of soloing a large-scale dungeon. This is basically history in the making. Following this trend, Lin Moyu might solo all the dungeons in Dungeon Hall. Hell rank difficulty isn't likely to stop him. Perhaps only the super large dungeon may pose some challenge to him. Still in shock, the people proceeded to implore again, Boss Lin, do you need points? We can pay points. Right, we can pay points. We don't want anything, we'll also give you extra points, just to complete the mission. Yes, we can give you points. I'll give you 1,000 points. I'll also offer 1,000 points. 1,000 points is not a small amount, nor is it a large amount. These people all have some savings. Lin Moyu needs to pay 2,500 points to raid the dungeon once. Even with his 120,000 plus points, they will eventually run out. Furthermore, he also needs points to purchase equipment and skill scrolls, so the more he has the better. But if he takes them to complete the mission, he can earn 39,000 points at a time. And it won't have any impact on him. Lin Moyu considered it for a moment. It's really a good idea. I can carry you through the mission, for 1,000 points per person. But I have a condition. Lin Moyu agreed, and everyone showed expressions of elation. Junior Lin, go ahead and say it. We just want to complete the mission, nothing else. That's right, we'll listen to you. Lin Moyu said, if we encounter desert fruits outside the ant colony, you must leave them to me. Everyone present knows about desert fruits. They are the ultimate tool for grinding skills, much better than skill training center. It is quite normal for Lin Moyu to raise such a condition. Don't worry, we will. I don't want desert fruits. I just want to complete the mission. Yes, we just want to complete the mission. Lin Moyu said, all right then, who's coming first? Me, let me go first. I've been stuck at this mission for a year now. I've been stuck for 2 years. Let me come first. The place fell into chaos in an instant. The entire dungeon hall became noisy. Everyone hopes to go first. Lin Moyu frowned at the chaos. At this moment, someone suddenly shouted, everyone, be quiet. Shu Han walked out of the crowd and said, everyone, quiet down and line up. Form a queue according to how long you have had the mission, in descending order. Shu Han's words were quite persuasive. Lin Moyu echoed her words, queue up according to how long you have had the mission. Under Shu Han's instructions, everyone quickly lined up. One person after another paid the points and then joined Lin Moyu's party. Lin Moyu said to Shu Han, thank you. Shu Han chuckled and said, it was nothing. She knows that Lin Moyu doesn't like to talk, so she took the initiative to help him. Lin Moyu asked, have you completed the mission? Shu Han smiled sweetly, I have. Now go raid the dungeon. Don't mind me. Lin Moyu nodded, if there are missions you want to complete in the future, you can come find me. Shu Han smiled happily, all right. When the time comes, you're not allowed to refuse. I won't. When the party was fully formed, Lin Moyu received 39,000 points. His total points surpass 160,000. This manner of earning points is unprecedented. It is not uncommon for parties to carry people through dungeons, but it is usually 1 or 2 people at a time. Well-equipped parties can reduce the number of people needed to raid a dungeon. If the dungeon usually requires of 6 people to be raided, they can reduce the number to 4. Then they can carry 2 people and earn some points. This is quite common in Dungeon Hall. But one carrying 39. This is unheard of. At this time, the party entered the dungeon. In the dungeon, yellow sand extended as far as the eye can see. Stay behind me at all times. Lin Moyu gave a warning. Don't worry, we'll listen to you. We will do whatever you say. If you say to go east, we go east. If you say to crouch, we crouch. When he heard these words, Lin Moyu didn't know whether to be amused or annoyed. He willed, and the skeletal army poured out onto the desert. Chapter 98. Don't be reckless. When the skeletal army appeared, gusts of cold wind rose, and the surrounding temperature dropped several degrees. Dang, these are Boss Lin's summons. Undead summons, no wonder his class is called Necromancer. But this number is really exaggerated. So this is Boss Lin's class. It must be a legendary class. I think it should have exceeded the legendary rank. I have never heard of such a class before. There are about 200 summons, both warriors and mages. That's awesome. It's really scary, the people exclaimed one after another. The more timid ones took several steps back and plopped with their butts on the ground. The skeletal army and Lin Moyu had already set off. The people quickly followed suit, words full of wonder surging from their mouths. This has broadened their horizons. It is what they call a one-man army. Soon, the skeletal warriors encountered a desert woodwraith, a super-enhanced elite monster. To them, it is a very powerful being, not much weaker than a leader of a nightmare-ranked dungeon. Even if it's a party of 40, it will take at least half a minute to take it down. It took me and the party I went with last time 2 minutes to take down a desert woodwraith. Same here, with its high physique and strength, this monster is too hard to deal with. Our knights were pushed around like sandbags. I wonder how many of Lin Moyu's skeletons will have to die before they can kill it. In their eyes, the skeletons aren't strong. They gather that several must have died. The skeletal warriors charged toward the desert woodwraith. The desert woodwraith swiftly attacked with its withered tree branches. At the same time, the skeletons brandished their large blades and chopped off the withered tree branches. Then the blades fell on the desert woodwraith lightning fast. At the same time, spells of the skeletal mages arrived one after another. Dozens of spells fell. The desert woodwraith fell to the ground with a scream. Everyone was stunned. This is inconceivable, but the notification that popped up leaves no room for doubt. They really gained express. It's over. The fight lasted less than 3 seconds, yet it's already over. Is there some kind of mistake? This is a super enhanced elite monster, yet it was killed just like that. Oh my god, how high are the attributes of Boss Lin's skeletons? When he saw the less than 10,000 EXP, Lin Moyu couldn't help but shake his head. If he were here by himself, he would be able to gain 300,000 express. But since he has to share the express with 39 other people, he can only earn a few thousand express. In turn, however, he gained 39,000 points. This is a worthwhile trade-off. With points, will express be an issue? At worst, he can raid the dungeon a few more times by himself. And besides, points can be used to purchase skill scrolls. An elementary skill scroll costs 800 points. An intermediate skill scroll costs 80,000 points. Unlike other classes, there are no skill books nor heritages for Necromancer. He can only gain new skills by relying on skill scrolls. Lin Moyu understands that points are very important to him. Since that's the case, he can only try to earn as much as possible. As the party quickly advanced through the desert, everyone witnessed Lin Moyu's skeletons easily kill desert woodwraiths. In front of Lin Moyu, this kind of monster is nothing. At some point, they reached an oasis. The skeletal warriors ran ahead, followed by a large number of desert scorpions. Lin Moyu ran after them. The class users behind him followed suit. What is Boss Lin trying to do? Dang it, he's drawing so many monsters. There are already over 100, and their number is still increasing. Is he going to use the skeletal mages to kill them in one go? Looks like it. I just noticed, but the wind and ice type skeletal mages have AoE attack skills. The people followed behind Lin Moyu, feeling excited and agitated. After running for 20 minutes, the number of desert scorpions behind the skeletal warriors exceeded 200. Everyone began to feel a bit worried. If the skeletons are defeated, will they have to run for their lives? At that time, their only option will be to leave the dungeon. However, seeing Lin Moyu's indifferent expression, they could only choose to trust him. A tall mountain cliff appeared in front of them. At last, they reached the ant colony. The skeletal warriors finally turned around and engaged in battle with the desert scorpions. Seeing the flood of express notifications, the people realized that the combat power of the skeletal warriors has exceeded their imagination by far. If this continues, it's only a matter of time before the desert scorpions are all killed. But in this case, there really wasn't any need to draw them together. Yet when they reached the battlefield, Lin Moyu raised his palm. Skill, corpse explosion. Along with a blare, yellow sand shot into the air and then pelted the ground. Subsequently, explosions sounded one after another, and the drizzle of yellow sand turned into a rainstorm. The sudden loud noises startled everyone. Some even plopped with their butts on the ground. Is this lightning? Where did the explosions come from? What's going on ahead? Look at your express. Someone shouted. Express notifications popped up like crazy. The desert scorpions died in batches. 10 explosions rose in a row before stopping. When the yellow sand in the air dispersed, they finally saw clearly in front of them. The desert scorpions have all died. Too fast. How did he do that? When we arrived just now, there were at least 200 desert scorpions. Why did they die in the blink of an eye? Those explosions must have been caused by his skill. The power is tremendous. That was scary. No wonder Lin Moyu was able to clear the dungeon so quickly. This skill is dreadful. Lin Moyu proceeded forward, not paying attention to their words. Subsequently, he saw the patches of cacti. But there were no desert fruits this time either. Bai Yiyuan was right. The probability of desert fruits appearing is indeed not high. The skeletons quickly cleared the young ants at the entrance of the ant colony. Lin Moyu said to the others, "Stay here. I'll call you when all the monsters in the colony are cleared." As he spoke, the skeletal warriors have already rushed in. Okay, we'll wait here. Boss Lin, take your time. Don't worry about us. It's only been 3+ hours since they entered the dungeon. This speed has exceeded their imagination. Other parties often take around a dozen hours to reach this stage. Moreover, Lin Moyu is still carrying 39 people. This is something unbelievable. Lin Moyu entered the ant colony alone. The others stayed outside. They looked at each other, not knowing what to do. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, someone suddenly said, "Why don't we go draw over a monster to fight?" Don't be reckless, there aren't any monsters here that are easy to deal with. Seeing how easily Lin Moyu killed them, the monsters don't seem to be as difficult to deal with as I imagined. There is no comparison between you and him. We are both class users, so even if there is a gap, it shouldn't be too great. After a bout of debate, everyone finally decided to draw over a young ant to fight. Several knights came forward, buffed by supports. They cautiously entered the ant colony through a different entrance than Lin Moyu. Soon, the knights ran back, followed by 2 young ants. We accidentally lured over 2 small ants. Healers, prepare to cast heal. Mages, warriors, archers, get ready for battle. The knights shouted as they ran. After reaching the skill range of the healers, they turned around and began attacking the young ants. At the same time, they didn't forget to release the knight's signature skill, Taunt. The attention of the young ants was completely focused on them. Skills cast by the others greeted the young ants one after another. At this time, a young ant collided with a knight. With a bang, the knight was pushed away by tremendous force. The terrifying force shook him to his bones. What a powerful attack! Healers, use heal. The healers immediately treated the knight. The second attack of the young ant followed, and the knight was knocked back again. I'll be damned, why is it so strong? Damage dealers, where are the damage dealers? Stop shouting and focus on fighting. Continue to tie the monsters down. We're attacking it as we speak. The knight fell silent. He did indeed see a large number of attacks falling on the young ant, but it didn't seem to have much effect. He looked to the side and saw that the other knight's situation was no better. He finally realized that just because Lin Moyu can deal with these monsters so easily doesn't mean that they also can. Their party's level is varied, and the same is true for their equipment and skills. It is basically a disjointed mess that can hardly function. After several minutes of tremendous effort, they eventually killed the 2 young ants. The knight plopped with his butts on the ground, panting heavily. That was really difficult. The monsters here are too abnormal. It's harder here than any dungeon I've been to. No bullshit. Otherwise, there would be no need for a party of 40 to raid the dungeon. Large-scale dungeons are no joke. It's better to stay put and wait for Boss Lin to call us. I won't move even if you kill me. Fortunately, there were only 2 just now. If there were one more, I suspect we would have been wiped out. Lin Moyu saw the express notifications and roughly guessed what they were doing. They can't stay still. He paid them no more attention. If these people are tired of living, it's none of his business. Chapter 99. Are you tired? I have a potion. After the baptism of the 2 young ants, the 39 people finally stayed put, not daring to act recklessly. If it were 2 worker ants instead, their group would likely have been annihilated. Thinking about it, to sit back and wait for things to be over, doesn't that sound nice? After all, since they have paid points, they should sit still and wait comfortably. He entered the ant colony a dozen+ minutes ago. Why hasn't he killed a single monster yet? Needless to say, he must be drawing the monsters. We've seen it before. Indeed, it is much more efficient this way. The words just fell, when notifications welled up like crazy, their frequency even higher than before. Express suddenly jumped up by a chunk. As I said, he was drawing the monsters. Compared to just killing them one by one, this is indeed much faster. He should have arrived at the boss room. I heard that the ant colony's boss monster is an extremely powerful queen ant. I've also heard of it. The queen ant is even more powerful than a nightmare rank boss of the same level. The key is that unless you deal enough damage, the queen ant will heal herself again and again. If it's him, she should not pose a problem. Lin Moyu naturally had no idea what they were saying, nor did he know that the queen ant could heal herself continuously. In front of him, the queen ant only had one chance to use the skill huddle. She will die before the skill's cooldown period is up. If Lin Moyu's offensive were stronger, perhaps the queen ant wouldn't even have the chance to use huddle in the first place. Since this is the 3rd time he came here, Lin Moyu is already familiar with the place. He waltzed in as if an old friend coming over for a visit. The people outside the ant colony made conjectures regarding how long it will take Lin Moyu to deal with the queen ant. Someone said half an hour. Others said 20 minutes. And yet others said 40 minutes. After 20 minutes, a series of notifications welled up once again. And this time the notifications lasted longer. They looked at the information in shock. Dang it, that's so many monsters. No wonder his leveling speed is so fast. That's a lot of monsters. The express we each gain is only 1/40th of the total amount, yet it's still this much. If he had gobbled up all this express by himself. If he keeps pushing like this, I reckon it will take him less than a month to go from level 20 to level 30. No, it's more like less than half a month. Express rose continuously and notifications flooded in without stop. This lasted for over half an hour. At last, the mobs in the ant colony have been wiped out. Subsequently, after just 1 minute, they received a notification that the queen ant had been killed. It took Lin Moyu about an hour to sweep clean the ant colony. A large chunk of time was spent due to the queen ant using her skills huddle and summon ants. If it weren't for these skills, Lin Moyu would be able to end the battle in 5 minutes at most. A few minutes later, a skeleton ran out of the ant colony, showing the others the way. After going through the ant colony, everyone arrived at the desert territory that belongs to the lionmen. The two parts of the desert, separated by the mountain, have completely different atmospheres. The atmosphere here is full of oppression, and the air here is even hotter. Soon, a magnificent castle came into view. This is the Lionman Castle. Lionman Tyrant, King of the Lionmen, world rank boss, is located in the center of the castle. So many Lionman monsters, it's an army. The skeletal warriors charged forward and engaged in a fierce battle with the Lionman warriors. Boom! As an explosion sounded, the Lionman warriors suffered heavy casualties. Lin Moyu's progress speed is extraordinary, terrifyingly so. However, this time, they finally saw what his skill is all about. I see, it's a skill to detonate corpses. Exactly. By detonating a corpse, he can kill the monsters nearby. What an amazing skill. Lin Moyu doesn't mind others knowing about his skill. After all, he has showcased his skill in battle space before. When the new students coming from all over the empire arrive at the academy the day after tomorrow, information about his skill will spread quickly. It is impossible to hide it. In the first place, he never intended to hide anything. If they know, so be it. It doesn't matter. The Lionman warriors outside the city were quickly eliminated. The skeletons once again braved the rain of arrows and launched a fierce attack against the castle's gate. Everyone's eyebrows jumped up at this scene. His skeletons can even be used in sieges like this. Why is he attacking the gate directly and not using siege equipment? I think he's just too lazy for that. Those skeletons are too strong. Not only is their strength terrific, but the same is also true for their defense. His class is too strong. Along the way, Lin Moyu shocked them again and again. At the beginning he instantly killed monsters, then killed groups of monsters, and now smashed the castle's gate. Everything was smooth and straightforward. 2 words come to mind: sweeping suppression. A few minutes later, the gate was destroyed. The lionmen inside were killed in the blink of an eye. Stay back and watch from the outwall. Doing otherwise would be suicidal. This time everyone listened and stayed on the outwall obediently, not daring to get close. From the outwall, they can see the Lionman tyrant sitting on the throne in the center of the castle. I'll be damned, so this is the Lionman tyrant. At last. I used to just hear about him, but now I can finally see him in the flesh. As expected of a world rank boss, he looks really awesome. It is said that a party of 40 will take at least a few hours to kill him. I wonder how long it will take Lin Moyu. It shouldn't take too long. They weren't quite sure, though they felt that Lin Moyu has been quite relaxed the whole time. Lin Moyu also stopped a distance away. The skeletal warriors and skeletal mages stepped forward and freely engaged in combat. He just watched quietly, even looking a bit bored. This scene left everyone speechless. With such attitude, can anyone beat a boss? It's as if he were looking down on the world boss. At this time, the skeletons have already engaged the tyrant. The tyrant brandished his giant axe repeatedly, sweeping away the skeletal warriors. The skeletal warriors ran back one after another and continued their attacks. The skeletal mages stood a distance away like batteries, raining down magic attacks on the tyrant. The tyrant doesn't seem to be all that. I feel like I can take it down with ease. If you are tired of living, be my guest. With your abilities, it will be over in one go. I'm afraid you won't even get the chance to leave the dungeon. Forget it, I was just joking. Everyone knows how powerful the tyrant is. With their equipment, if they go up, only death will await them. It's better to watch from afar. After just 15 minutes, the tyrant collapsed again in front of Lin Moyu. At the moment of the tyrant's death, the communicator of the 39 people, who were carried through the dungeon, received a message, mission completed. They all cheered with joy. Thank you, Boss Lin. Thank you, Boss. The mission has finally been completed. Thank you, Boss, you're amazing, you're really amazing. It's over at last. I was stuck for 2 years, 2 whole years. This mission, these people were stuck at the mission for over 1 year to 2 years. Their joy at this moment can't be understood by others. It's an unimaginable happiness. Some even cried with joy. Lin Moyu saw their unusual behavior and roughly understood. The people who can enter Shajing Academy are all geniuses who stood out in the great examination, are the envy of everyone. However, after entering Shajing Academy, they realize that they are just ordinary students. In the academy, there are students who have received better education and resources from the various institutes ever since they were children. These students are stronger and more amazing than them. They were no longer hailed as geniuses, and a strong sense of loss took root inside them, making them feel uncomfortable. Some true geniuses will stand out from among them. They will break away from the category of ordinary students, enter independent institutes, and eventually even join top institutes, becoming true scions. On the other hand, the rest of the ordinary students will be struggling with missions, thinking about how to graduate. At this point, life changed and took different paths. Due to limited resources, what the Academy wants is to find the true scions and then pour more resources into them. After all, it is better to have one top powerhouse than 100 or 1,000 ordinary class users. After the mission was completed, the 39 people left the dungeon one after another. As for the equipment that the tyrant dropped, it's none of their concern. They were only interested in completing the mission. This time, there was no new record. It took nearly 7 hours to get through the dungeon. The group appeared in Dungeon Hall. The news of their success spread like wildfire. At this time, there was a long queue in Dungeon Hall, extending from the entrance of Tyrant Desert all the way to the outside of the hall. When he came out, Lin Moyu was startled by this sight. How come there are so many people? There are more than 100 people. Shu Han has a gentle smile on her face. You're out. Lin Moyu made a sound of assent and then asked, why are there so many people? Those are people who wish to clear the dungeon. After hearing about you from their friends, they rushed over. They've been stuck at this mission for a long time. Shu Han said with a smile. There are so many people. If he carries them all, he'll be able to earn more than 100,000 points. However, that would take a lot of time. After 2 consecutive dungeon raids, lasting a dozen+ hours, he already felt exhausted. Shu Han saw through Lin Moyu's thoughts, and a bottle appeared in her hand. Are you tired? You can use this. Fatigue potion. Can restore stamina and eliminate fatigue. Effective for 24 hours, long-term use is not recommended. Shu Han smiled and said, after taking the fatigue potion, you won't feel tired anymore. However, it's not recommended to use it for a protracted period of time. It's okay to take it occasionally. There's actually such a thing, as well. He has never seen such a thing in the trade office. This is a potion is extremely hard to come by. It costs 500 points per bottle. Do you want a few bottles? Shu Han smiled brilliantly, squinting her big beautiful eyes into a line, as if an expert salesman. Chapter 100. If you dare touch him, I will tear Dungeon Hall apart. After going through 2 consecutive dungeon raids, lasting more than 13 hours, he is indeed tired. Following Shu Han's sales pitch, Lin Moyu bought 6 bottles of fatigue potion. After drinking a bottle, he felt as he was bathing in a hot spring. All his exhaustion was swept away. He felt more refreshed than after a good night of sleep. Shu Han blinked her eyes. How is it? Pretty good, right? Pretty good indeed. When she heard Lin Moyu's assent, Shu Han was very happy. The 500 points were well spent. Now you can continue to carry people through the dungeon. There are still many people waiting. The queue seems to have become longer. There were people joining at the back. With one carry, he can earn 39,000 points. This is quite profitable. Lin Moyu wants to go into the dungeon, primarily to obtain desert fruits and secondarily to earn express. He really wants to find desert fruits again and max out several of his skills. Moments later, Lin Moyu brought another group of 39 people into the dungeon. Although there were 39 fewer people, but the queue not only did not become shorter, but it even showed signs of becoming longer. The people who cleared the dungeon called friends, urging them to come quickly and do the mission. Such an opportunity may not come again. At the same time, information regarding Lin Moyu has spread. At Bailey Institute, Bailey Sheng received this information. He pounded a stone table, as if it were a stand-in for someone. It turns out he has an AoE attack skill that uses corpses to deal damage. He also has a skeletal army with exceptionally high attributes. That is to say, so long as his summoning skills are restricted and there are no corpses around, Lin Moyu is basically a good-for-nothing. Every class has its weaknesses, and this is where his weaknesses lie. Bailey Sheng analyzed Lin Moyu's information, a look of resentment in his eyes. Lin Moyu not only thoroughly embarrassed him, but also caused the reputation of Bailey Institute to plummet. If it weren't for Lin Moyu, then the new record of Tyrant Desert would have belonged to Bailey Institute, and they might even have gained the tyrant's heart. He was very eager to get the boss accessory. In his opinion, Lin Moyu robbed him of many things. However, due to his identity and position, he can't take action against Lin Moyu. At the same time, he was also envious of Lin Moyu's class and skills. Lin Moyu's skills are too powerful. After pondering for a moment, Bailey Sheng said, "Go find Ling Zhen of Qianlong Institute. Tell him I have something to talk to him about." In Dungeon Hall, after 7 hours, Lin Moyu cleared the dungeon once again. After drinking a bottle of fatigue potion, he no longer felt fatigued and even felt energized. Not only was his physical fatigue washed away, but the same was also true for his mental fatigue. This potion is really miraculous. Concoctors who can make this potion are quite amazing. In that case, let's continue. There were still over 30 hours left until the opening ceremony. If he is fast enough, Lin Moyu can carry people through the dungeon another 5 times. That's nearly 200,000 points. During these 5 times, he might be able to encounter desert fruits once again. Lin Moyu looked around and realized that Shu Han has already left. She probably went back to have a rest. He thought to himself. Lin Moyu proceeded to collect points and then entered the dungeon with a party. He raided the dungeon again and again. The day before the opening ceremony, new students from all over the empire arrived at Shajing Academy one after another. The academy has arranged many older students to guide them, complete the necessary procedures, and then take them on a tour of the academy. With a student a year their senior serving as their guide, Sha Shui and several other new students toured Shajing Academy together, enjoying the academy's beautiful scenery. As the #1 academy of Shengxia Empire, Shajing Academy is grand and majestic. Other academies don't come even close to it. After touring the academy, Sha Shui returned to her dormitory. Unlike Lin Moyu, who splurged on a single room, she is staying in a double room. As a mage-type class user, Sha Shui has to meditate on a regular basis, and it is best not to be disturbed during meditation. A 4-person room would be too noisy. A single room is too expensive. Therefore, after weighing things, she chose a double room. After all, she has less than 10,000 points. She can't spend them recklessly. The double room costs 1,000 points per month, making her feel a bit distressed. During the Great Examination, she gained 7,600 points. Furthermore, as she was ranked second in her province, she was awarded another 2,000 points. She has a total of 9,600 points. At the time of her departure, Sha Dongyang, her father, warned her repeatedly to save points, to not use points when gold coins can be used. This gave Sha Shui an idea about how difficult it is to earn points. In the academical trade office, there are so many good things. But unfortunately they all require points. I can't buy them. I really envy that guy. He has over 30,000 points. I wonder how many points the imperial top scorer is awarded. It should be a lot. According to Principal Liu, Lin Moyu arrived at Shajing Academy a few days ago. I wonder how he has been doing these past few days. With his abilities, he should be able to do very well. Imperial top scorer. That's really remarkable. Thinking of Lin Moyu's performance in battle space, Sha Shui felt it was outrageous. At the same time, she was happy for Lin Moyu. At this point, she no longer intends to compete with Lin Moyu. The difference between the two is just too great. She can admit defeat, but only in her heart. Such words will never come out of her mouth. That's enough. I shouldn't think about him anymore. Anyway, he will surely appear at the opening ceremony tomorrow. All of a sudden, the door opened, and her roommate arrived. Xia Shui's eyes lit up. It's you. Zhuo Mei looked at Xia Shui in a daze, and then a happy shade appeared in her eyes. What a coincidence. To become roommates with someone from the same province, that's quite fortunate. Lin Moyu carried people through the dungeon over and over again, and the Lionman tyrant fell in front of him time and time again. He went completely overboard. If it were not for the fact he can only occupy one spot on the ranking, the dungeon's top 3 spots would have become his, all practically unsurpassable. Lin Moyu has been in Dungeon Hall for 2 days now and has carried others through the dungeons a total of 5 times. He is now preparing for the 6th time. This is the last time. He should be finished at around 7 o'clock in the morning. The opening ceremony will be held at 9 o'clock in the morning. He looked at the queue. There are still 35 people left. Once he carries these people through the dungeon, he will be done. After collecting points and forming a party, everyone quickly teleported into the dungeon. For Lin Moyu, this is the 8th time he has entered Tyrant Desert. Except for the first time, he hasn't encountered desert fruits until now. I hope there will be desert fruits this time. In Bai Yiyuan's small courtyard house, Ning Taran looked angrily at Bai Yiyuan. The kid you favor is too reckless. What's the matter? Bai Yiyuan showed a strange expression. Lin Moyu is a calm and collected character, so there's no way he would act recklessly. Meng Anwen is also present. He poured a cup of tea for Ning Taran. Old Ning, take it easy. Have some tea and speak slowly. Ning Taran said grumpily. The kid is in Dungeon Hall, carrying people through Tyrant Desert. Bai Yiyuan said strangely, isn't that quite normal? Such things happen all the time. But he's carrying 39 people at a time. Ning Taran snorted. The people who have been stuck at the mission in recent years are now completing it. Bai Yiyuan slapped his thigh and burst into laughter. To come up with this idea, the kid is good. How much is he charging? I hope it's not too low. Ning Taran's eyes widened. You're driving me crazy. Old Bai, it's not like you don't know the purpose of the missions set by the Academy. The Academy intends to use missions, especially large-scale dungeon missions, to screen out outstanding talents. People who are stuck at dungeon missions have issues, either their strength is lacking good, or their character is no good. There are always various problems. Bai Yiyuan drank his tea. Of course I know, but so what? The rules set by the Academy have no provision that prohibits carrying. His actions are within the scope of the rules. Old Ning, if you are dissatisfied, you can search through the Academy's rules and regulations to see if Lin Moyu has violated any of them. Ning Taran's beard and eyebrows stood up on end. He really can't come up with a rule that Lin Moyu has violated. Bai Yiyuan continued, I have long since been dissatisfied with these missions. Over the years, many good seedlings have been stuck because they are not good at socializing and can't find a party. You must know this as well. In fact, I think that young Lin did a very good deed. The Academy's system really needs to be reformed. Ning Taran was furious, his head already ablaze. Meng Anwen drank tea and said slowly, the Academy's system is too antiquated. The system was established hundreds of years ago. It is indeed high time for reform. Ning Taran took 3 sips of tea in a row, yet still wasn't able to suppress the fire inside of him. He got up and said angrily, you two are hand in glove. Bai Yiyuan chuckled, despite your age, that temper of yours is still the same. In any case, let me tell you this, if you dare touch Lin Moyu, I will tear Dungeon Hall apart. The corners of Ning Taran's mouth twitched, aware that Bai Yiyuan will really do it. If it weren't for the fact that Bai Yiyuan wants to cultivate Lin Moyu, he would have already stopped Lin Moyu. Ning Taran left with a huff. Meng Anwen chuckled and said, old Ning's temper remains unchanged. Bai Yiyuan was unconcerned, a leopard can't change its spots. There's only one person in the world who can handle him. Meng Anwen naturally knows who Bai Yiyuan is talking about. He couldn't help but reveal a knowing smile.